October 27th, 2025. And we will start with roll call, please.
Thank you, Chair Anderson. I'll start with roll call. Chair Anderson?
Here.
Vice Chair Whalen?
Here.
Board Member Black?
Here.
Board Member Noon?
Here.
Board Member Six?
Here.
We have quorum. Thank you.
Thank you. We will move on to general business, public comment. So any member of the public may address the board for up to 2 minutes on any subject within its jurisdiction that is not on today's agenda.
Thank you, Chair Anderson. I'll start with in-person public comment. At this time, I do not have any slips for general public comment. If anyone in the audience wishes to make a general public comment, they may fill one out and bring it to me. I see no one in the audience moving to do so, so we will turn our attention to virtual attendance. And at this time, I do not have any hands raised for general public comment virtually, and we did not receive any written correspondence for general public comment. So I thought I'll turn it back over to you, Chair Anderson.
Okay, then we will move on to the approval of the minutes from the Architectural Board of Review meeting on October 13th.
So moved. Second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, let's take a vote.
Chair Anderson,
Yes.
Vice Chair Whalen,
Yes.
Board Member Black,
Yes.
Board Member Noon,
Yes.
Board Member Six.
Yes.
We have motion passes.
Okay, and then the approval of the minutes from the consent meeting of October 13th.
Thank you, Chair Anderson. We had 2 items that day, and they are up, or 2 items that day. 1232 East Canyenta Street, received project design and final approval with comments, changed the size of the font for the address to be more subtle, and then the project compatibility analysis criteria was met. Item B was a new item for project design approval, 2000 De La Vina Street. Received project design approval with return to consent for final approval with comments that the applicant just needs to return with a lighting and landscape plan. And then the project compatibility analysis was met. Thank you.
Okay.
I move to approve.
Okay, I'll second. Any discussion? Okay, let's take a vote.
Chair Anderson,
Yes.
Vice Chair Whalen,
Yes.
Board Member Black,
Yes.
Board Member Noon,
Yes.
Board Member Six.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, and then ratification of action taken on October 20th, 2025.
So we had 2 items on the consent calendar for October 20th. A concept review for 410 Orilla Del Mar that was continued indefinitely at staff hearing officer. And then a final approval item, 320 West Yananali Street, and that was approved for final approval as submitted. And so those are the only 2 items on October 20th. Thank you.
Okay, then I move that we ratify the motions taken on, or the actions taken on October 20th.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, let's take a vote.
Chair Anderson,
Yes.
Vice Chair Whalen,
Yes.
Board Member Black,
Yes.
Board Member Noon,
Yes.
Board Member Six.
Yes.
Motion passes.
And then today, we had a project design and final approval for 105 Harbor Way, which was, I can pull up some of that stuff, but exterior renovations, ADA compliant ramps, a new ramp, new trellis structure, lighting, and some removal, and final approval, just material detailing to the outside exterior of 105 Harbor Way, which is a restaurant there. And that received project design approval with comments to show lighting, ramp design stuff. I don't have the minutes, or I don't have the motion in front of me, but other such things to verify for final approval. The applicant needed to come back with structural engineering of the roof structure for the new patio cover, and that was about it. So that was given project design approval today. So.
Okay, well, I'd like to bring this to discussion for the board because I made the motion. And part of our motion was that the two of us that showed up today did not agree with the third ramp that was proposed, but we were told that it had been approved by a harbor committee. Is that correct? Harbor committee?
Waterfront Department.
Waterfront
but-
Department, yeah. So I think we took that as, well, then we don't really have a say if it should be there or not. But I'm kind of second guessing my motion. I'm not sure how the other board members feel about that. Or the other board member that was on consent today.
I agreed with your comments. I think we felt that it was outside of our purview, but we were concerned with it, so we're bringing it before you guys now.
How do we, Madam Chair, how do we evaluate the issue if we don't have any graphics in front of us?
Correct. So my thought was, can we not ratify the motion, and can I bring it to full board in the next meeting?
We can schedule for full board at the next available hearing if that's the direction that the board wants. Sure.
My only hesitation is I don't like holding projects up, but
So you can have it returned to consent. We need to take a vote on the ratification today and the direction it's going. So you can send it back to consent. We can send it to full board. Up to you.
do you have any thoughts?
Question, Madam Chair, does ratification mean approval, a first step of approval?
Yes, right.
So yeah, so the project received project design approval today, and it's being ratified by the full board now. And so if you don't agree with the decision that was made at the consent hearing, you can choose to either vote to bring it up to full board or have the item be continued at a consent hearing again. Basically, you're voting no that the project was given
Yeah.
project design approval.
Well, I won't be able to
Yeah, that's hard. Okay.
support the ratification because of lack of lack of information.
Can I describe more about it, or should we just make a motion?
Why don't you just go full board? Because otherwise you're
Okay.
just bringing it back to what you already did with consent,
Yeah,
right?
okay. So what do I say? I don't approve, or I don't make a motion for I don't ratify. Motion is to not ratify the action taken and recommend it
Yeah,
be moved to the full board?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's my motion.
I'll second that.
Okay, let's take a vote.
Chair Anderson,
Yes.
Vice Chair Whalen,
That motion I can support.
Board Member Black,
Yes.
Board Member
Yes.
Noon, and Board Member Sixth.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, thank you. Any announcements, requests by applicants for continuances and withdrawals, future agenda items, or appeals?
Staff has one announcement today. So this is guidance from the planning supervisors and the city attorney's office regarding the ABR's purview when voting on items scheduled for final approval. When voting on a motion for final approval where project design approval was granted at a previous meeting, the board's only purview is whether the plans substantially conform to the project design approval plans. The way you vote for final approval should not be based on whether you voted yes or no to a project design approval. Even if you voted no for project design approval, you still may vote yes for final approval if you think the plans substantially conform to the project design approval plans. So just direction from supervisors. And that's it for myself.
A question for staff on announcements. Are there ABR meetings scheduled for November 24th and December 1st?
I can get an answer to you after the first item. I'll
My
take a look.
announcement is I won't be available for those two dates.
The 24th of November
And the 1st of December.
Perfect, thank you. And I'll let you all know.
Okay, any subcommittee reports? Okay, so we are moving into item number 1, This is for final approval. This is 604 East Ortega Street, Ortega Park. Proposal for renovations to Ortega Park. The project consists of the Ortega Park master plan, including a new swimming pool, wading pool, water slide, skate park, splash pad, sports courts, shade sails, sports field, and synthetic turf, ping pong tables, cornhole, and buildings for restrooms and maintenance. Site improvements such as fencing, parking, landscaping, dumpsters, and related enclosures and walkways are proposed. The park is considered a community park except the ball fields and related facilities, a sports facility for the ball fields and related facilities only, and a community building, the Welcome House, per City Council Resolution 17-074. Final approval is requested. Project requires substantial conformance to the plans granted PDA by the full board on March 20th, 2023. This project was last before the board for an in-progress review on May 15th, 2023. And before we get started, I did watch the last meeting because I was not there in May 15th, so I'm up to speed.
Thank you.
Okay, well, welcome back. Please introduce yourselves. You'll have 15 minutes to walk us through any response to our comments from last time and also any changes and all of the final details.
Chair Anderson, my name is Justin Van Mullum. I am with Parks and Recreation. I'm the Capital Project Supervisor. And here in the audience is also our Director, Jill Zachary. So Ortega Park has not had a significant improvement in 50 years and no longer really adequately serves the community. So that's why in 2018, the city kicked off the master planning process. In late 2019, City Council approved that master plan concept, and that started this process. And in 2021, Planning Commission approved the overall plan. 2021, additionally, the City Council reviewed and gave direction for our mural plan. This being said, these are a lot of improvements, and there has been 28 hearings, public hearings at various boards and commissions, 17 community workshops with stakeholder groups, and this is our 7th APR hearing. So to wrap things up, through this process, we have listened to the community and stakeholder groups. We've adjusted plans, which is why it's taken us a little bit of time to get here. This project has truly been designed by the community, and we look forward to having it built. I'm going to now turn it over to RRM.
Great. Thank you for having us. My name is Elijah Pierce. I'm from RRM Design Group, and with me I have
Anna Schmidt, Senior Landscape Architect.
Great. So,
Sure. Anna Schmidt, Senior Landscape Architect with RRM.
great. So, fairly large site and projects. I will try to give a brief overview, then jump in and keep moving, but look forward to your questions as we get into it. So, briefly, just as a refresher, it is a full city block paired between Ortega, Coda, Salsa Puedes, and Quarantina, and is split into two main areas. You've got the athletic field up top, and then an aquatic facility, an all-wheel park, and basketball area to the southern half. Within the site, we have a few buildings and structures. We have right here a pool equipment building. Down in the corner, the existing Welcome House that's getting a fairly significant refresher. Then the aquatic facility is largely a restroom and shower facility to service the pool. And then within here, we also have some shade structures and a large large trellis area that tops off this plaza. So one other thing that's really unique and I think fantastic about this park is the amount of art and murals that are being preserved and created. And so we'll touch into this a little bit, but this is the mural plan, and you can see where all these tags are different murals. And so the Parks and Rec Department's been able to save and preserve a number of them, as well as add some new murals. So The art really plays a lot in the design, and just wanted to give a sense of how much there is and where it's located. And if you have questions about a particular piece of art, we can get into that. We have a full mural plan, etc. All right, so jumping to the buildings, I'm going to start with the Welcome House. So this is that one. Yeah. I'll get my ideal zoom size. Let's go at 50. That gets you. So this is the public-facing side on the kind of plan west side. This is the entrance. And it not only has some offices and community rooms, but acts as, in essence, a gate to get into the pool facility. And so that's kind of reflected on the elevations. So jumping down. Okay. So this is the front elevation, and things have maintained fairly consistent from the last time we were before this board. One item here, we previously had a stucco corbel system. In working through this with our structural team, we changed it to doing a paired 2 wooden brackets. Basically, they are better suited to get the overhang that we wanted. We were having trouble getting good enough support for a deeper overhang that we had shown, and so we moved them to wood, and we have those detailed that we can look at later. All right. We've also, since our previous visit to this board, refined some of the tile down here. So we showed tile, deco tile at the space area. We now have that actually detailed on what tiles look like, and we will get into those as we get into some of the details. All right. Moving around the building, everything's maintained a kind of consistent design from our previous area. We did enlarge some windows on this facade. Basically, we were trying to keep with the exact window openings of the previous building, but due to some structural upgrades, we had the opportunity to make some changes, and so we brought these windows up a little. Their locations were slightly different, but tried to keep the same style and proportion of the other windows on site. They previously were a little more, not quite square, but squarish. All right. Moving on to the restroom building. So, restroom building, you can see, has 2 main wings, a kind of wing with changing rooms, showers, and then the main portion of the restroom building. And so this side right here is where the actual pool area is. So this wing is facing 2 areas, so one an enclosed restroom area and the other to the general park area. And so it is kind of serving 2 areas of the park. Right. All right, so starting out with the north elevation, which is within the restroom, or it was within the pool facility. We have the main restrooms facing in here, a drinking fountain area, and then some additional both service and restroom doors. The main change from here was an attempt to address a comment from this board about this mass. We previously just had a more simple roof line up here with the wooden brackets, and the comment was this left a bit of a high forehead to the building. It was looking a little plain, and in getting into the engineering and structural design of it, we actually had to tweak that roof height up less than, or just about half a foot. It's not a lot, but it didn't help the problem. So we really look for a way that we could pull in a little bit more of a subtle detail, but something that would feel proportional with this height and not leave us so much kind of blank space above the head. So we introduced this corbelled band here. This would just be a stucco detail. You can show on the details. But we thought that both used that space appropriately, gave a little bit more direction, and addressed the comment that we had that this felt a little too tall and plain. And so wrapping down to our east elevation, this has stayed consistent with our prior design. That corbelled wrap is there. The one change we had here is just trying to better facilitate the mural. So we have a particular mural going right here in those dotted lines. And this is an existing one that is currently on the Ortega campus. And so we pulled back that banding so we can really have a nice smooth palette for that mural. Wrapping around out front, only updates on here. We're specking out the tile for the surround behind the drinking fountains, and again, that corbelled wrap up at the eave.
I just want to let you know you have about 5 minutes.
Great, thank you. So I will try to note anything new that's changed. This is the west elevation, but that has stayed consistent. Okay. Skipping to the pool equipment building, fairly simple utility building. And again, just trying to do some subtle but delicate detailing with the plasterwork surrounding at the doors. We've got a larger mural. We've kind of adjusted that base for that mural. But otherwise, the detailing on this building has not changed. Okay. 61, the trash enclosure, I think we showed this earlier, has a trellis top. It is screened in with a Nichols woven wire mesh up top and wrought iron doors, steel doors. Okay. Let's look at some of the architectural detailing. Okay. So in the shower area, we have a Moorish grill, and so we've got that worked out now. This is kind of a motif that we use in a couple locations, both at the shower grills and in a shade structure that we'll get to. Whoop. On this page, we also have the wrought iron gate. This is a gate at the public-facing side of the restroom building. Kind of protects a niche, so the Parks Department is able to close that off when the park isn't in use. It's not a kind of attractive place to hang out. All right. And all sorts of details. Up on the pool restroom building, we have a little weather vane, and we're having a mermaid swim. Kind of fun. Typical stucco details. We've got it's kind of a repetitive detail. The counterlop tiled parapet is a kind of repetitive motif throughout the buildings. Okay, so I do want to get to a couple other structures, and we can come back to details. In the pool area, remember we have a few shade structures, so we have these kind of more delicate steel structures that are providing shade in those areas. These we've reused that Moorish grill pattern for the shade structures. And then We've got the larger trellis area here. So the trellis we've done kind of in this curved steel, but then with wood purlins, and really tried to reflect some of the kind of community design in throughout the park and pulled some of the colors from the murals. The steel allows us to do a couple things. One can have a more open, larger span, but also have that little more organic curve than we can in a purely traditional wood structure. So we really liked this more contemporary piece that's tucked in inside the park. It's not right on a street front, but ties into the rest of the park design, we think, quite well. All right. And I do want to give a little time to my colleague to talk about some of the plantings. I was supposed to give her 5, so I apologize.
No problem.
Yeah.
Thank you, Elijah.
Yeah.
While we are on this sheet, note, sorry.
Just make sure you bring
Yeah.
it in a little closer.
Okay. Thank you, Elijah, and thank you, board members, again, for your time today in 2025 as we move through this process. I did introduce myself. My name is Anna. I have also been working with Justin Van Mollem and Jill Zachary and PIC Jeff Ferber on this project for almost 8 years. So in the interest of your time today and to stay on track, I'll just provide a high-level summary with a little bit more detail on the park as designed, and then some of the further development and detailing or improvement to our plan set since we last convened for project design approval and the interim in-progress review. Elsie,
How much time do you think you'll need? Like 3?
I think I could do it in 3.
3 minutes?
Or three-
Okay, we'll
3 to
try for
5.
3.
Okay. How much time do I really have? I'll
0.
do it.
But we'll give you,
Okay.
we'll give you
Okay.
3 minutes and then we'll see where you're
Okay,
at.
You got it. Okay. Let's go straight to GS 101, please, page 8. Okay, so while Elijah gets there, for the overall site plan, almost there. South of Quarantine, I'm moving south of Quarantina here, our multi-use athletic field that is adequately lit for permit and practice use and will be open 12 months of the year for recreational purposes. Could you go to the previous page, please? Thank you. Moving south from the East Ortega Street entrance, we have our aquatics facility. This includes a 6-lane swimming pool, as well as a wading pool that has a series of interactive spray or splash pad features that are detailed further in the set. We also have the water slide selected by Aquatic Design Group and Parks and Rec, as well as the shade structures for family picnic that Elijah previously described. Moving beyond the sorry, we'll hold on that one on this sheet in particular. One element that we're excited to share with you is the incorporation of the details that Elijah alluded to with the murals. Of the 27 murals that are currently proposed on site, 8 of them are aquatic themed and are located on the aquatics deck. There is the re-envision La Playa south of the pool mechanical building. We have dolphins behind the structures adjacent to Ortega. We also have underwater Atlantis Tolteca, which is adjacent to the changing room, and Blue Whale, which is the left of the welcome house. Back to GS 101, please. Moving outside of the aquatic facility and into the rest of the park, we have our wood-stamped concrete promenade that separates the all-wheel park from the restroom feature there. That will lead the user from Salsipuedes up into any number of active spaces, including the central gathering space that's open for flexible use for community events that currently occur in Ortega Park. On the right, as Elijah's gesturing to, we have the all-wheel park that's been finalized by Guru Zach Wormhout, and they've incorporated a colorway, 2 different colors of concrete and some decorative metal trim. Please note, adjacent to the all-wheel park, we have our relocated Cosmic Unity mural, which is in shades of blue. And board members, if I may point you to LC 508. which I believe is 78. Sorry, 83. Keep going. 83, and you can see that that mural was painted, and one more, please. Those are the details of the pool deck there. That's underwater Atlantis Tolteca there with the raised pedestal to meet the height of the decorative pool deck fencing. Next slide, please. Or sorry, go one up, two up. We'll show them the detailing at the skate park. Yep, that one right there. That's the relocated Cosmic Unity. You could see the shades of blue, which Wormhout's team has incorporated into the skate park metal trim, and a re-envisioned Codex Cosby there, which will be along the Saucipueta Street frontage. Moving on to other improvements, in the interest of time, we have our play area, our family play area, which is, let's go to LC 101, page 72, please. Some further improvements to that area include detailing of the rubberized safety surface. We've incorporated the sun feature to pick up on the Campesinos mural, which is on the planned north side of the restroom as proposed right now. That one has a great historical significance, so as you can see that behind the playground, that is the intent there. Next slide, please. And then other notable features that were asked about or discussed from our last hearing were the Coda Street Promenade there. That's an integrally colored concrete with sandblasted striations. We're also proposing steel letters embedded in that concrete. The city will go through the public art process to engage artists as far as what additional letters will become part of those voids at this time. Lastly, there's been further development and detailing to all of the raised planters that you see, and if there's any questions on any of those or plant material, I'm happy to walk through any items you're interested in hearing more about.
Great, thank you so much. We will open public comment for item 1.
Thank you, Chair Anderson. I'll start with in-person public comment. At this time, I do not have any slips for this particular project. If anyone wishes to make a comment, they may fill one out and bring it to me. I see no one in the audience moving to do so, so at this time we will turn our attention to virtual attendance. And I do not see any hands raised at this time for this particular project. We did receive written correspondence on this project from a Mr. Barrett Cordero. And with that, I'll turn it back over to you, Chair Anderson.
Okay, we'll close public comment and go to questions from the board. Vice Chair Whalen, would you like to start?
Yes, I seem to remember asking this question at a previous meeting, but, and it isn't germane to what our charge is, but is the length of the pool such that it's to be used for competition?
That is correct. Thank you for asking.
And so it's a 25-yard pool?
25-yard to my recollection, and also there is enough space behind the lanes to accommodate the competitive swim
The starting
blocks.
blocks?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Mm-hmm.
Very good. And then what is the material for the shower screen and the shade structure? Is that a family product, Mr. Pierce?
So the shade structure is a prefabricated metal.
Metal?
Correct. So we're treating it like a lot of the other metal work on the campus. So kind of a wrought iron look. It'll be a black color, whereas the wall panel is a custom cast stone. So it's concrete, but it
So
has
as
a nice
opposed to the
stone
shade
finish.
structure, it has some dimensionality?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Those are my questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Board Member 6.
Yes, thank you. I'm hoping that the pole lighting for the field has been studied for sky, what do you call it?
Dark sky.
Dark sky and movement into the neighborhood. Is this the most sophisticated lighting system available?
That is correct, Board Member 6. The design has not changed since the last time you asked that question. We are in
Oh,
full
did I?
compliance with the foot candles
Okay.
that are allowable for
I'm sorry.
commercial and yes, many years. And it's a very apt question too,
Okay.
and we are in compliance. Thank you for asking.
Very good. On the details, I noticed that these are lovely buildings, but I didn't see reference to bullnose corners and so forth in the openings and so forth. Are you intending to do a bullnose?
Yes, we have the recessed window details that show kind of the typical recessed. That's the intent that we carry that through.
It wasn't very strong on the plans, but
Okay.
if you could reinforce that.
Absolutely.
And on A904, the gate, lovely design, but is it tube steel or is it wrought iron?
It's designed as tube.
Is there any way to have it fully wrought iron?
I think that's something we can study.
It's really a handsome project, and it would complete things. And then on the, there's several galvanized flashing details on A906, 23, and 22. Can you go through the extent of those? You know, are they hidden or limited or whatever? Can you just briefly tell me if they're, you know, consistently everywhere or not?
So let me pull up the actual elevations and I'll show you kind of where we've got them. So it's fairly limited. Basically, this, we don't have it, obviously, at
Yeah.
the tile work. These are stucco, and then we have here, this is stucco, those are stucco, but it's up here. We have a kind of a larger overhang that we felt better about having a capped metal. So
Okay.
this line right there.
So there is
Yeah.
the only place?
It would be painted to match the
Yes.
rest of the stucco.
Obviously.
Yeah.
And the full length of the first vertical drop? The full height of the vertical?
Correct, the
vertical drop.
full height of the first vertical drop.
Yes, okay. That's it?
Make sure I'm telling you the truth.
There was two, there
One
was
second.
two details, 22 and 23,
Yeah. Give me 1 second.
906, if that helps.
Yep. And there, and the welcome house. Yeah, this is all stucco. So, no, just that one
Okay,
location.
great, wonderful, thank you. And then, didn't see your gutter sizes, you assume a 6-inch and a 4-inch downspout?
It is a 4-inch downspout. It may be, we might be doing a 5-inch gutter. on
Okay,
that.
very good, thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Board Member Black?
I suspect this has been made clear in earlier meetings, but the playing field, the large one, is that artificial or no?
Correct.
It is. And then the two, I saw sort of two paneled areas that are labeled as grass, that's grass?
Natural grass, yes.
Okay. And then all along Coda Street,
Correct.
that
where the
frontage will be all grass?
Existing trees to remain
Okay.
there.
And then could you just show me quickly, you know, I saw the details for the wire fencing and stuff. Could you just quickly show me where fencing occurs?
Absolutely. Let's start on LC 701. Moving left to right, Board Member Black, we have our decorative metal fencing at the aquatics facility with the built-in murals. That page kind of gives you a visual illustration of all of them in addition to the details. Moving right to the all-wheel park is a 6-foot max height decorative metal fencing as well, but this one has the second bar on top for safety of the users.
I'm sorry, and show me where that is, where
Sure.
it's located?
Yes.
On plan.
Fencing site plan for me again, sorry.
How about, let's go to LC 100, please? And let's start at 71. Go ahead, yeah. Keep going. Go one more up from there. Okay. So the 8-foot decorative metal fencing with the mural walls adjacent to the aquatic facility, the 6-foot max height decorative metal fencing at the All Wheels Park to the right. We also have the 6 to 8-foot welded wire mesh around the synthetic turf field. And we also have 36 to 42-inch height decorative metal fence required by code around the water slide adjacent to the pool equipment building, and another linear piece that's adjacent to the basketball court.
Where is it on the basketball court?
If you could go to LC 102, flip 2 more sheets, please.
The court
There you go,
itself
there you
doesn't
go.
have fencing, right? It's just
I-
around the,
It's
It's
just to
not-
stop the balls
it's-
from going
yeah.
into the street.
that's what I mean.
Yeah,
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 I understand.
uh-huh.
Thank you. Cool. Those are my only questions. Thank you.
Board
you.
Member Noon?
Just a quick one, back on the Welcome Center, the elevations. You've got some wall space between the pair of windows. Was there a consideration of pushing those together?
Are we looking at the southern elevation?
Mm-hmm.
So let me flip to floor plan. So the reason we went for the spacing was for kind of that interior layout, particularly in the conference room. We're looking to center those. So we felt kind of that, it's always that balance between the interior and the exterior. I think that is why we showed those, they're centered within those rooms.
I meant in each room, just a small wall space between. You mentioned that previously they were more square,
Right.
and now they're
Oh, so pinching those together.
right.
So let me see how close. I think that is a nice idea. I just want to see if we could physically do it to get at least a pack of studs. It does look like we could tighten that up. Yeah, so that's more than 3 inches. So
And then would you eliminate then the plaster between them, or if you go back to the elevation, maybe? I don't know. I guess I'd.
So yes, if we could get it tight, we can kind of actually mold those windows together and then have just a joint metal panel that ties them together.
Yeah. Sorry, that rolled into a comment, but that's it. Thanks.
Okay. I don't have any questions. Any follow-up questions?
If you could solve one mystery for me on sheet 73 or your image 73, through the basketball court, there appears to be some indication of something that lies beneath along, it looks like a court, but it's some.
Stormwater.
It's utilities, right? Thank you.
Okay, well, let's go into comments. Reminder, they're here for final. So Vice Chair Whalen, would you like to start?
Well, I appreciate your attention to detail and your ability to listen to all of our comments. I think it's a commendable project. And Mr. Van Mullen and Jill Zachary, thanks for your perseverance on this. I think it's going to be a couple of more years before that swimming pool's filled, but I look forward to it, and I think the project is ready for final approval.
Great, thank you. Board Member 6.
I think it's a very good project, stunning. It's executed very well. I really like the minor refinements to the welcome and restroom buildings. And I would just recommend, with all this quality, that the gate be a wrought iron. I think it could be, it looks a little heavy as it is now, and with solid tubular, solid bar, it would really harmonize with the quality that you've achieved here.
Board Member Black.
Yeah, I think it's an extremely handsome project, and it'll just be a real plus for the city. Just one little minor thing, because I'm always looking at plant sizes. I noticed that all your trees are 24-inch box except for the stenocarpus and cassia, and I was just wondering why those are 15s and not 24s as well, unless I'm misreading it.
And the olea at the plaza are also specimen 48-inch box so that we could get the most mature species that we could in the appropriate areas where, for the provision of shade. So to offset a cost, I'm sorry, Board Member Black, that probably didn't answer your question. Our sizes vary based on context, use, and available budget.
Okay, so it's a cost thing.
In addition to really giving a bang for where we need big trees. For
No,
example,
I get that
yeah.
part. That's why I wondered why you didn't go 24s instead of 15s, because
Oh, throughout.
because the 15s are going to be really spindly, you know. And I'm always concerned about 15-gallon trees in public spaces because things happen to them. So, I mean, I just think if you could see your way budget-wise too. I don't think you have that many of them, the cassias and stenocarpus, but anyway, it's just a comment on my part. But if you could go larger, I think the project would benefit from it.
Great.
Thank you for that comment.
Board Member Noon?
I agree with the previous board members. I think it's evolved very nicely. Would concur about final. It's ready for final. My comment about the windows, I would, I guess, maybe open it up to the rest of the board if they think, I don't necessarily think it's important enough to make a condition you to that. It's been said, so you're the designer. You take it from there. But that's my comment. Thank you.
Great, yeah, I agree with all the board members as well, with all the comments. I think each comment will actually make the project that much better. And in regards to the gate, make sure that the sun cutout isn't more than 4-inch diameter. Okay. Okay, who would like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion for final approval with the following conditions: that wrought iron be used at the gates and a modification as proposed be used at the windows.
I'll second.
All right, any discussion?
Discussion, can we suggest that the 15-gallon trees be 24, but not a condition of approval?
Yes.
Yes, I approve of that.
Second as well.
Okay. Okay, great, let's take a vote.
Chair Anderson,
Yes.
Vice Chair Whalen,
Yes.
Board Member Black,
Yes.
Board Member Noon,
Yes.
Board Member Six.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Yay, and there is a 10-day appeal period, but congrats.
3 years, 4 years till we go swimming? Something like that.
Okay. All right, thank you. All right, moving on to item number 2, 305 Rancheria Street, and 512 through 524 West Montecito Street. The project consists of a new 52-unit affordable housing development, 51 rental units and 1 manager's unit on the 2.08-acre site, adjusted lot size due to pending lot line adjustment. The project would be developed under the city's average unit size density incentive program and state density bonus law. The project has an average unit size of 832 square feet. Density bonus concessions include relief from front setback requirements for the 3-story buildings and a height limit restriction for Building B only. No density bonus units are proposed. All existing development, including 28 low-income rental housing units, 49 parking spaces, and a community center building would be demolished. Final approval is requested. Requires substantial conformance to the plans granted project design approval on October 28th, 2024. Welcome back. Do we have anything from staff before? Nope. Okay, great. All right, well then you'll have 15 minutes to respond to our last comments and tell us any changes, and we're here for final. All right, thanks.
Okay. Thank you, Chair Anderson. Rob Fredericks. I'm the Executive Director of the Housing Authority of the City of Santa Barbara. We're happy to be here today to hopefully receive final approval on this very important development. Monterey Village is one of our first public housing developments built in the City of Santa Barbara in the early 70s, and it shows. It's in need of major need of redevelopment. The infrastructure shot on it, and as you know, it was a year ago this month that we received preliminary design approval for this development, and we're excited to move this forward and get it moved into the building department so that we can get our tax credits and move forward with the needed work that needs to be done. And I reviewed that ABR meeting from last October and heard everything that you all said, and I think I'll turn it over to Sarah now, because I believe that we've addressed much of everything, if not all of what was asked of us. So, Sarah?
Yeah, thank you, Rob. I'm Sarah Shelton with RM Design Group, architect. I'd like to start off by going through kind of how we addressed the comments from project design approval. So there was one comment from project design approval, which was consider some of the comments with evaluating the corbels, paint palette, and design rules with the siding and painting. So we'll go through those one by one, and then we'll take a look at any changes outside of those, and then can show you the project details. So starting off with the comment on the corbels, we'll take a look at those. So this comment was specifically regarding the corbels at the balconies. Oops. Sorry, I gotta get used to the zoom on this thing. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Okay, so these are the corbels in question at the balcony. Previously, in the set that was submitted under project design approval, they were a little bit more ornate, and the comment was that they didn't necessarily fit in with the rest of the design. It was suggested that we either look at kind of reshaping them or removing them. We did look at removing them, but felt like they added kind of some nice character to the balcony openings, so we kept them and chose to reshape them. So we simplified them to have a simple angle, which is in line with some of the other wood detailing you'll see at the project. So at the window trellises, we have kind of a similar angle. At the trellises at the balcony, again, we have a similar angle if I zoom out here. And then at the columns on the ground floor facing the courtyard, we have kind of like an angled bracket at the post cap. So we're tried to update the shape of these to be more consistent with the project detailing as a whole. The next comment was regarding the paint palette. I think the biggest kind of question here was for the south facade of Building A. And let's see, I'm not sure if the previous plans are...
Do you want the project design approval plans?
Yeah, are those available?
So actually, here, I think.
Okay. Sorry, thank you.
So you'll have two PDFs open. So this is the PDA plans right here.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, so if we go to these, so this is the project design approval plans. So this is the old elevation. So if you see here on the old elevation for the south side of Building A, we had a lot of color changes. So we were changing colors at the balconies for each unit. And this is really the only elevation we were doing that. At the other elevations, we were changing colors at the balconies, but we had color blocking of about every 24 to 30 feet instead of color blocking every 12 feet. So we updated the south elevation of Building A. So now I will flip to the current plans. Let's see here. So you'll see that we simplified this elevation and kept the same color at the balconies as the rest of the unit, kind of making the color changes more in line with the rest of the elevations and the rest of the buildings. We also, this mass was previously white, and we updated it to this kind of more blue color, which we feel works better with the adjacency to Building C. So Building C, both previously and currently, was proposed as white on the south elevation. So now we're keeping kind of those lighter colors at the smaller buildings, and then when you transition to this building, the color palette is still complementary, but you see a little bit more of a distinction. And then the rest of the colors really stayed the same. There were 2 simplifications that we made in line with the board's previous comments. So previously we had 2 white trim colors. We had like an off-white and more of a pure white. We eliminated the off-white color, so now all the white trim is that pure white color here. We felt that this was kind of more cohesive for the project and a little less finicky, which was a concern. And then we also eliminated one of the gray siding colors, which was found in very limited places. That gray used to be here, so now we're matching the adjacent colors there. And then the third comment was regarding the design role of siding with painting, which played into this. So you'll see here we have the same material, we're keeping the same color. When we transition to the side elevation, so I'll go to, let's see here. Excuse me 1 second. So on the side elevation of Building A, we kept the same colors, but previously this balcony pop-out was shingles. We changed it to siding to kind of highlight the color change that's happening here and make it more cohesive with what's happening at the front of the building. So now you have, again, it's the same colors as previously proposed on this elevation, but you've got kind of this brown shingle, which matches this brown shingle over here, and then you've got this blue siding, which matches this blue siding here. So overall, we feel like we kind of tried to simplify things and make it more cohesive. So now I'll kind of transition into changes that were made from project design approval. Overall, there were extremely minimal changes. The biggest change was to the south side of Building A. So again, if I quickly flip to the previous plan, so this is the old plan we're now showing, you'll see that the entrance to the recreation room on the ground floor of this building is 4 bays in and has this small roof covering. In the updated set, as we studied this area and plan and began to lay out the rooms, we shifted the entrance to the recreation room to be centered on the space, which works much better in plan and worked really well with the Housing Authority's goals kind of for the space. And it also allowed us to stretch out this roof covering over the space, which I think actually really helps break up the vertical massing of this building and creates more of a kind of monumental entry to the recreation room. So we felt like that was an improved change. Some other kind of, that was the biggest change, some minor changes. I'll go to those now. At the other buildings. So at Building B on the north elevation, there was a minor change to the trellis detailing above the tuck-under parking. It used to be a continuous kind of trellis along the whole face of this facade, but with the undulating facade, that was difficult to achieve with waterproofing, and it was just working out to be a messy detail. So we broke it up so it's an individual trellis kind of per bay, which we thought actually worked quite well and is a cleaner detail, and it gives the same appearance. We also thickened this band a little bit, which was in line with some previous comments actually that weren't documented. It had to be thickened just to match the structural sizing of the beam there and make sure that we have enough room for that fascia board to cover the fire wrapping that we need for that fire rated assembly. So minor change there. Then going to the next page, another minor change here. Previously, we did not have a decorative element here. We decided to add these decorative vents. We thought that benefited this elevation. And then moving on to building C. This building stayed very largely the same. The only minor change we wanted to note was previously we have this like little electrical doghouse, if you will. The head height was not meeting the code requirements, so we just had to raise the head height by about a foot or so. So this little utility closet grew, but that did not impact any of the windows or anything above. And then as far as detailing goes, we kept kind of the same detailing. One minor update, it was, let me flip back to building A. At the stone wall, in the previous project design approval plans, we had more of like a thick, kind of almost stucco cap at the top of the stone wall. That's been revised to a true, like a stone cap, which we felt was nicer. And then we were able to detail that in a way where it transitions nicely. So you'll have a flush kind of stone edge projecting from the wall that transitions nicely into a full wall cap. And that kind of goes over our changes. I'm happy to go through any details or answer questions as needed.
Any landscape changes before we?
No, we've just refined it, and I can point out details.
Okay. Great. Well, thank you. Then we will open up public comment for item 2.
Thank you, Chair Anderson. I'll start with in-person public comment. At this time, I do not have any slips for this particular project. However, if anyone wishes to make a comment, they may fill one out and bring it to me. I see no one in the audience moving to do so. We will now turn our attention to virtual attendance. And at this time, I do not see any hands raised for a virtual comment on this particular project. And we did not receive any written correspondence for this project. So at that, I'll turn it back over to you, Chair Anderson.
Okay, then we'll close public comment for item 2 and move on to questions from the board. Board Member 6, would you like to start?
Just one minor, the west side has a trash enclosure with a very shallow pitch. What's the material of that?
For the roof of the trash
Yes.
enclosure? Here, let me go to that detail. I believe it's a metal roofing above, but I want to speak correctly.
Corrugated.
Yeah, sorry.
That's all right. I don't need to see it, just
Okay.
need to know. And it's monderized paint.
We can make sure that
Okay.
that makes it in the specs.
Thanks. No other questions?
Okay, Board Member Black?
No questions from me.
Board Member Noon?
Quickly on the trellis, it looked like maybe there was some of the old corbels held over. Was that intentional?
On the trellis above the windows, or?
I'm sorry, at the parking.
Oh, let's see. We had some, we do have some different corbels above the tuck under parking that are really shallow. We did have to keep a small bevel there because with our head height clearance requirements for the ADA stalls, the depth of those corbels is limited to something like, I think it's like 5 inches.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, but to achieve the 8'2", the height of those corbels is really shallow, which is.
Can you go to that elevation?
Yeah. But yeah, thank you for pointing that out. Yeah, so these guys.
So you've changed them from last time, but you have kept them.
Correct.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
Vice Chair Whalen?
Yes, a small clarification. Could you go to, I believe it was called side elevation 2?
Do you remember what building?
It was the second one you talked about. Was that building C?
So this one is building B. I can go.
No, it wasn't one of these. There it is on the lower right.
Yeah.
Are those garage doors?
Yes, those are.
There's no, are we looking at an elevation change because there doesn't appear to be a bottom style on the door?
That is likely a,
Just a drawing
just
error?
a drawing error.
Okay,
So we can
thanks.
make sure it's
I have a follow-up question on this elevation. You don't really see it, but on a lot of them, you have these half rounds. Are those drains or vents on your elevations, lights?
Oh, those are the patio scuppers from the upper.
Okay.
Yeah.
They are the drains.
Yeah.
Okay. That's my only question. Any follow-up questions? Okay, let's go into comments. We're here for final as well. So, Board Member 6.
You all should be very proud of yourself. It's just a stunning project, very well executed, and I have no problems and would wholeheartedly deem it approvable for final.
Board Member Black?
I would agree.
Board Member Noon?
I agree. I don't want to beat up the corbels, but I like the change to the upper ones at the balconies. I don't know if you could do that the same, but again, it's not a condition unless the rest of the board feels that way. You're the designer, so I'm just going to mention it and move on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Vice Chair Whalen?
Yes, I think the design as proposed is ready for final approval. I have some reservations, though, that reflect earlier comments that it doesn't reflect any of the Santa Barbara character that we all know and share. And it's not really craftsman. It's this jumble of colors and materials, and it's difficult to do a three-story craftsman. And then my third sort of gripe is that the site design introduces automobiles to the interior lot lines rather than respecting backyards of others. The design itself, I think, is perfectly approvable, so I'm not going to quibble with my own reservations.
Yeah, I'll follow up with all of your changes seem in line with what we've seen before in substantial conformance. And my preference would be to get rid of the corbels altogether. And I also agree with Vice Chair Whalen. It's still a pretty muddy design that we've looked at before, but I think it's ready for final. So who would like to make a motion?
So I will make a motion for final approval, being that the final plans are in substantial conformance with the preliminaries, and the improvement and the changes are not significant changes and improvements to the preliminary design.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Okay, let's take a vote.
Chair Anderson,
Yes.
Vice Chair Whalen,
Yes.
Board Member Black,
Yes.
Board Member Noon,
Yes.
Board Member 6.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Congrats. There is a 10-day appeal period.
Thank you.
Yeah, all right. Thank you. And we need a recess, or you guys? Maybe we'll take a 2-minute recess. Thank you. Okay, we are going to move on to item number 3, 102 West De La Guerra Street. Proposal to construct a new 4-story plus basement self-storage facility and a 5-story 44-unit residential apartment building on a site developed with a 77-space parking lot. The site is located within the Priority Housing Overlay and Central Business District. The site is located within the Priority Housing Overlay. Oh, that's on there twice. Great, okay. Project utilizes AB 2097, the city's average unit size density program, and state density bonus law. No parking is proposed pursuant to AB 2097. A concession for height restrictions and a waiver for open yard standards as allowed under SDBL has been requested of the Community Development Director. Planning Commission approvals of 2 development plans and a tentative subdivision map were granted on May 1st, 2025. The property is adjacent to the El Pueblo Viejo Landmark District. The proposed project is adjacent to 101 West Cannon Perdido Street, the historic telephone building constructed in 1927, and across the street from 113 to 115 West De La Guerra Street, a historic Spanish colonial revival style building designed by noted architects Edwards and Plunkett. Final approval is requested. Project requires substantial conformance to the plans granted. Project design approval by the full board on June 9th, 2025. Staff, yes.
Yes, thank you, Chair Anderson. I just have a couple comments before I hand it over to the applicant team. One thing I know this board is aware of, but I also want to mention it for any members of the public that are interested. The purpose of final approval consideration is simply for the board to address whether the current iteration of the design is substantially conforming to that which received project design approval. And then one other note, the applicant team We are still working out some details for swim compliance that we would typically have done for final approval. So if you feel it is ready for final approval, I do have a small condition of approval that just tacks that on at building permit with the provision that if it were to constitute a significant enough design change, we would bring it back to you on a review after final. And with that, I'll hand it over to the applicant team. Thank you.
Great. Well, welcome back. Please introduce yourselves. You have 15 minutes to walk us through any changes and then.
Chair Anderson, if I could interrupt, I apologize. I've got a conflict, so I'll step down.
Okay, thank you.
Brian Cornell.
Yes, thank you.
Jeff Hornbuckle with the Cornell Collective.
Jack Boyle, Arco Murray.
So I should explain, Jack is here representing Arco Murray, who's doing this as a design build project. So we are not the architects of record on this. You're going to be looking at plans from GMA. But we've been working closely with them on the detailing, and so we'll just go through it and see what we've got. This is basically the latest rendering of the project with the landscaping as Mr. Cunningham, who is here, has proposed, and he can go through the landscape plan. There is one large change that you should be aware of. We had, in the PDA set, we had the transformer in the back off the alley, but because this is actually a subdivision and these buildings are going to be separated into two properties, we had to bring the transformer for the residential up front. And because it is in all intents and purposes all electric, the load is actually quite large. So we had to locate the electrical room right adjacent to the transformer. So you can see in this rendering that basically we've changed that corner. We have a door into that electrical room, a stair that will be clad in the same stone that we're proposing as the garden wall. And so the result was that we lost some bike parking, which we were able to put on the upper floors, and we've had that reviewed with transportation, and they have found it acceptable. So that's really the most significant change in this, and I think what we can do is go through and take a look at some of the elevations and details. Well, there are details we can start with, I guess. These are sort of the typical window.
It was just a big file.
Maybe start with the front, the De La Guerra elevation. So you can see that stair and that element that was the bike room window that has basically narrowed as a result of that. So I think it does, it ends up giving this building kind of a nice, as you saw in the rendering, it does still ground the corner. And I think given that stairway will be clad in stone is an important piece of this. I don't think there's anything else here that has changed from what you saw relative to the PDA. We do have we have a brown tile that is the base at the bike room, and then a blue tile that's the base at those residential windows. So maybe we can go to the detail sheet. So, it's okay. So you can see the eave detail there on the right, the typical eave on the mansard, and then the larger the eave that is below that, and then the typical rake on the storage building. Kind of what that detailing is on the flat roof portion. the base at the self-storage. Yeah, and we can go back to those elevations if you want to see them.
Wrought iron balcony.
So that's the little finial at the elevator tower element. Again, you can see that flared rake detail on the left. That is the section at that main entry door into the residential. So it's set back quite deeply, and that surround, I think, will feel good as it goes around that element.
Some roof details. Do we want to look at the site plan to show the location of the transformer? Okay.
And actually, maybe we could then go to the landscape plan, and Bob can talk us through that.
Yeah, maybe we should just do that.
I didn't mention that when we had to put the transformer there, that the podocarpus that exists was compromised, and so we are replacing that with a large oak. So Bob, you want to come up, and if Jeff can find the landscape plan, you can speak through that.
Trying to get there. Here we go.
Hi, Bob Cunningham.
I will just point out there's a fence and gate about 3.5 feet back from the back of sidewalk that is located in front of the transformer, and then the tree behind that Brian was just referring to. So.
Okay, starting out, the rendering from the De La Guerra Street frontage does not really depict the street trees accurately. They will be probably up to the bottoms of the upper floor balconies, and they will be evergreen. The idea is mostly to shade those windows from morning sun, but obviously it will also buffer the impact of the building. We have, I believe, 4 Coast Live Oaks, all 48-inch box in size. We have essentially the same planting that you saw several months ago. We are still planning on having the climbing Algerian ivy, not covering the whole building, but on the east side, in the little notches, alcoves, and then also on the west side where the building sets in. The trees with the wavy edges are Schefflera. They will get to be about 25-30 feet. Everything here is obviously shoehorned into very small space, so there will need to be control. Excuse me. I was mistaken regarding the Scheffleras. The larger trees with the wavy edges are sweet shades. So, 35-foot tall tree, narrow, upright, can take the narrow conditions and also the shade on the east side of the building. We also have several windmill palms and Italian cypress on the west side, and juniper, the vertical cypress-like juniper on the east side where it's a little shadier. The big circles with the bees in the center are Berberis, Golden Abundance,
also referred to as Mahonia. Those are screen plants, will get to be 5 to 6 feet tall and bushy. Up in the upper corner where the transformer is, of a right-hand corner, is a Scheffler. I think we've got another one down toward the lower right-hand corner, if I recall correctly.
Okay.
In any case, we are, the plans are essentially done, and I think, as I said, this is essentially what you have seen. Water conserving landscape, should have no problem getting approval from creeks. That's it.
I don't think so.
And if you,
Anything else to add?
I think you just answer questions, yeah?
Okay.
You want to sit? All right.
Okay, well then we will open up public comment for item number 3, 102 West De La Guerra Street.
Thank you, Chair Anderson. I'll start with in-person public comment. At this time, I do have a slip from a Miss Cheryl Beers. If you could approach the podium, you will have 2 minutes to speak.
Thanks for your time, everyone. I know that I've sent some emails, and the issue of parking has been brought up numerous times, and I realize that's kind of a moot point for this meeting, but I just did want it to go in the record as a resident who lives on that block of De La Guerra right across the street from this project. I have extreme concerns about the lack of parking with 44 units. I think that we're all delusional about people being on bikes. Nobody can get to Costco on a bike. Everybody needs a car. So there's going to be a huge amount of extra impact on that one block between Chapala and De La Vina. If any of you ever are around at any time of day, there's people just parked there, sitting there. There's app-based food drivers that just sit parked in their car for hours at a time waiting to get an order. Lots of pedestrian traffic. It's extremely busy, very much pressured already. So I don't know what you think 44 more units without any parking are going to do to this block, but it's going to be devastating. I don't understand why the project around the corner on De La Vina, 825 De La Vina, very beautiful building with underground parking, and why we're getting stuck with this box with no parking. It's no communal outdoor space for 360 square foot units to not have any access to any outside space, I think is just deplorable and unlivable. But anyway, I guess I'll have to live with it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, I do not have any further slips. However, if anyone else wishes to make a comment, they may film on out and bring it to me. And we will turn our attention to virtual attendance. And I do not see any hands raised virtually for this project. And we did receive a written correspondence from Mrs. Cheryl Beers. And with that, I will turn it back over to you, Chair Anderson.
Okay, we will close public comment for item 3 and move into questions from the board. Board Member Black, do you have any questions?
Yeah, remind me, what's the street tree there fronting the building?
It's Eucalyptus citrix. It's not a commonly known eucalyptus. I don't know the common name.
Yeah.
We have as many as we need growing at, I don't remember the name of the nursery. It's Australian Plants, Joe O'Connell's Ojai Nursery.
Mm.
She's got them in 5-gallon cans now, and we're fingers crossed we'll have them in 15s by the time the place is ready to be planted. It's one of the street trees that the city arborist recommended.
Okay, so they've signed off on it?
Yeah, and I selected this one because it's the largest and it's evergreen.
Yeah. And did I see on your plant list that one of the oaks is going to be 60-inch box? Is that right, or did I get that wrong?
I think, the one on the right where
Yeah.
we've got room.
Behind the transformer?
Yeah.
I think the one on the left, too, in the front.
Yeah. Can you sandwich that in there?
If Jack says so, yeah.
Okay. And then we talked about the ivy on the building in the back, then, so what's the nature of the spacing, the planting? I mean, what are you sort of envisioning it looking like in 5 or 10 years?
Okay, if you take a look at the plan, the right-hand side, where, there you go. Those two triangles, each one represents one heterocanarensis.
I see.
There'll be 24-inch box, and, you know, the notion, the hope is that it'll grow to 3 feet a year once it's established and cover to the roof of the building and spread as far to the sides as possible.
Okay.
It will cling.
Yeah, those are my questions. Thanks.
Board Member 6?
Thank you. I know that questions in this meeting pertain to substantial conformancy, but I have a lot of questions. And one of the problems I have is that we approved preliminary development plan without any details. The record shows that the plans had no details. And when I gave my approval, I had trusted that the final plans would resonate with the Grinnell standard high-quality details. I assume that, and I'm concerned because I'm not seeing that as I peruse the plans now. So bear with me when I go into minutia here, but with that said, let's go back to the transformer issue first. Is that transformer, the new front transformer, in the floodplain? And if not, does it not have to be raised to the level of the floor plans?
The transformer is in the floodplain, and our understanding is that it does not need to be raised out of the floodplain. The electrical gear is up out of the floodplain. That's why there's the stair here up to that electrical room.
I understand.
Yeah.
But the transformer does not. And you mentioned that there's a fence in front of the transformer. I've experienced that most standard transformers need access from the front or long side. Is that fence going to be a wide open gate, which would negate a gate that can be opened and therefore negate plantings along that front?
No, so the gate is located at the path. The transformer requires 3 feet of clearance at the sides and back, which we're providing, and then 8 feet at the front, which is on this side.
Okay, so you can plant along that fence to hide it?
Yes, we are, and I'll let Bob speak to this, but within the 3 feet needs to be, fairly low.
How about vines along the fence? You are proposing that?
We have not proposed any vines. We could. It might be better to have vines along the front where we have those 4 end circles.
Okay, I'll leave that to you, but
those are encroaching in the 3 feet.
That will be a comment. And I know that electrical rooms get devoured quickly, but was there any study, this is a very narrow stair, was there any study of moving the stair inside the room and you would have adequate room on 2 or 2.5 walls even above the stair? eliminate that imposing structure at the front and get back to the character of what was first intended?
Yes, we studied a number of different solutions for this. The amount of electrical equipment in that room, and let me go see if I can find the plan here quickly. There's a large amount of equipment
I'd love to see
within
it.
that room. I think it shows on this plan. Let me get to it. No, it doesn't. Sorry, let me zoom in here. Yeah, this does not show the equipment, but it essentially lines 3 walls, and the space between the equipment is the required clear space. So this room literally is as small and tight as we can possibly get it. You can see that we recessed the door as much as we possibly could in order to get the required landing at the door. But it's physically not possible to make this room any smaller.
Yeah, I'd like to see the actual plan of the electric room to convince myself that it could not, because if you're using 3 walls, it seems that the 4th wall with the stair closely against it could possibly be...
The equipment runs to this wall. It runs along this, all the way out to this wall.
And I don't know if we could actually do what, if we did what you described, the door would be below the base flood.
But the floor would be, inside would be...
Yeah, I realize it, but I'm not sure that Edison would allow that. But, I mean, I think the stair actually helps with what becomes more of a blank corner. It actually helps define that corner.
I will let it go. The bike parking, front bike parking has been reduced considerably. Have you picked up the same amount of square footage on the other floors? Have you done a square footage?
Yeah, we did. So we previously had bike parking on the upper floors, on a couple of the upper floors adjacent to the elevator. So the idea is somebody could come in to the elevator, right, go up to their floor, come right off the elevator, and then store their bike.
So net, you're not losing...
We're not losing
area
any bike parking.
Area to bike parking.
Yeah, and
Yes,
we actually, that was something that we had to go through. I mean, when this all came up, we obviously, the first thing we were concerned that transportation would be okay with it. And so we have given them the plans and they have approved those locations.
We previously had bike storage on 2 of the upper floors, and we now have it on 4 of the upper floors.
Are you going to have some kind of bike management racks and so forth? I don't see them on the plan.
Yeah, the bike racks are not shown. It's the Dero Decker bike racks that have the assist lift for
So
the
they'd be
upper rack.
organizing them to be efficient?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yeah, extremely efficient, yeah.
The fence detail on AO.1.2.
Let me try to get there quick.
So that's right in the left-hand center. Is that the fence for in front of the
Transformer?
transformer?
Correct.
So that's tubular steel, I guess? And it doesn't seem to have the finesse required for what I looked for hoped to see in the final plans. This could be a wrought iron gate, more decorative. I think you have concerned yourself with the railings on the same stair adjacent to make it
Yeah,
look more
it
Spanish.
should match. I agree.
But
completely.
this seems very disappointing, especially when it's in front. I suggest that this type fence go all the way back on the angle to the back building, or to the start of the storage building.
Okay.
Detail
So I notice on, well, let's go to the elevations.
Front elevation?
Any of them.
Okay.
I noticed that the preliminaries had our beautiful plain Spanish flat walls and so forth, and these plans now have many vents. Can you describe the nature of those vents? Are they mounted on the, with a border mounted on the surface of the plaster, or what is the nature of the installation of those vents? Do you have a plan of that?
Yeah, I know that I know that one of them is pretty sure it's a dryer vent, and then one is probably for the mechanical. I don't know that we have a detail of it, so we do need a detail of the vents.
Do you know what you're anticipating?
Well, I would anticipate that we would need to have it recessed slightly back from the face of the plaster and not a surface-mounted vent.
Okay, so that needs to be done. And then I noticed that these elevations differ from the preliminary with expansion joints, both vertically and horizontally, especially in the back storage building. I know that it's very common to see this size of wall without plaster joints. Some, we do it commonly, and I think Cornell does it commonly too. And I don't understand why we have to have these beautiful plain surfaces burdened with these expansion joints. Can you explain? Are you resistive to taking those out?
Well, I will say for the residential building, these vertical joints are located where we've got CMU wall coming to framed walls. So that is the reason for those. The plaster undoubtedly will crack at those locations.
So where are those examples of those? So there's one right
one
there,
here.
yes.
One here. Actually, that's not, I'm sorry.
That's
I
a
take
section
that back.
section
One
line.
here, yeah. One here, and then they are on the side elevations as well. One here, and then similarly on the other elevation, side elevation. Oops, sorry.
Yeah, I think Jeff mentioned, I mean, obviously the code, as we know, requires it every, 12 square feet, but we obviously try to avoid that. But the problem here is the masonry. Ideally, they would at least be aligned with the window edge.
Or in the middle of it, better, but it's a change of material, then it's problematic.
Yeah.
So you're saying we have to live with those. How about the horizontals on the back building?
So the back building, we felt like because it's behind and less visible.
Yeah, I'm not so uptight about those,
Yeah.
but.
So that's why it has just sort of a regular spacing of the control joints that complies with the code required.
So I guess that you are mandated by the floor horizontals, is that correct? That's
Correct.
probably a given.
Yes.
Do you have any choice in artistically moving some of the verticals?
Yes.
This is all one.
Yes, we have some flexibility. I mean, you can see, we tried to align on this portion of the building, align it with the side of the vents.
Yeah, I would wish that you can study that to be more aesthetic, maybe even in the center of that vent.
Yeah.
On A, I couldn't, for the life of me, I couldn't find the door type, but a worrisome note on A5.12 that the exit door from the west stair was called out as a hollow metal man door. And your renderings show a very decorative door and ground floor.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Okay. And I couldn't find the door type or a type on the door schedule that gave any indication of what a Cornell standard River of Life or whatever door would be in that exit, in that position. No. So,
the other stair, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
that
side.
one, that
this
guy,
one,
yeah. I could not find what that door type was, and I dread it being a plain hollow metal man door, so
I think it's
I think that needs,
bottom right door.
This one?
I think so. Or no, I'm sorry, that's
interior,
indoor.
well, I couldn't find it, so we don't need to
And you're right, that needs to be,
Yeah,
look at.
yeah.
Yeah, it probably is not clear on here, but the intent was for that to be a hollow metal door that has
Still had the vertical pattern that was depicted.
vertical
Some vertical
grooves.
patterning or something that gave it a special Spanish look.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's,
Sort of a faux wood.
yes.
you know.
So on the very first page, technical page, T1.13, you have what seems to be
These
typical,
are straight from the manufacturer. is what
straight from the
these are.
manufacturer, and and then on your details, you have lovely booster tiles and mortar and, double hips and so forth. So I would suggest that you either eliminate this sheet entirely or have some notes to direct and have one place where the contractor can go for the Crenell type and traditional type mission tile details.
Agreed. Snuck its way in here.
So if we could go to A7.31.
I guess close.
Yeah. So, I squinted my eyes with the small scale preliminaries, and you had the Cornell typical beautifully sophisticated tail cuts on the beam ends, and especially the one down below this looks very simplified and disappointing. Now, I can see that on the back building, but it would seem that that is a...
You're talking about this one?
Yeah.
The one?
Yeah.
That is actually what we did have modeled in the
Oh, it is?
PDA set, yeah.
Never
We
mind.
didn't have a detail, but that is what was modeled
Okay.
in those drawings.
And your gutter size, as long as we're here?
Do you remember? Let me see.
Should be
6
called,
inch.
Yeah.
should be called out.
Yeah, I believe it's on the elevation. Let me look.
I squinted again and looked at some of Crenell's other handsome buildings, and there is a corner 45-degree beam on most of your eave solutions, and I didn't see this on the plans, these new plans. So that needs to be indicated. Or is your intent to have that? Because that
gap,
the 45-degree, you know.
I think that was.
Rafter tail? Is that what you're
Yeah.
The rafter tail,
Yeah,
excuse me.
at the mansard, at the hip.
I don't see any reflective ceiling plans, so I can't determine.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this seems to be indicating that.
It seems to be, but it's not detailed.
The intent is for that.
Yes, okay. Intent is good, but it goes only so far. I'm a little, we can talk about the balconies, the fabricated balconies. It seems on the new plans, they are very tight to the window openings, and on the old plans, they had a more generous side by side. Now, I know that, you know, it's hard to tell because you have dimensions on your details of various things, but I think you should look at that to make sure that you have adequate and consistent, at least 6, maybe even 8 inches beyond the door opening, so these balconies don't look
Beyond the door jamb, yeah.
And I would like to see the weights of the more details on this balcony. Detail, decorative plates. Normally, Crenell has very thick and beautiful stuff. And also, there's no corbel shown on the 4-foot balcony, the larger 4-foot balcony, and the shape of that corbel should be called out and detailed.
Which balcony is that? Are you?
There's
you're talking about
4 feet.
The deeper wrought iron balcony, or?
Balconies on the fourth floor of the apartment building.
I agree it can be shown more clearly, but the intent is this, for this detail applies to both conditions.
Yeah, well, you can do a little vignette to show
The deeper one.
the deeper one. Yeah.
Agreed.
And what is the material of that balcony? It's so thin, but so you're getting your
Of the
flooring,
floor,
yeah.
it's a 1/4-inch steel plate.
Ah, okay, top and bottom.
It's
Well,
just
it's
a
just one-
it's just a single
It's just
plate.
a single plate.
Yeah.
We used to do the basket weave, and we found that over time, as people stood on those, they would rub together and they would rust out. And so we've changed that typical detail to a single flat plate with the cutout, so that when you look up, it still has the holes. It sort of, you know,
Sounds
mimics that.
sounds handsome, yeah, okay,
We've done this on a number of buildings, yeah.
okay. Oh, I noticed that, I guess the 2 lanterns that you have cut sheets on, the large one is very handsome. It's 30 inches high, the lower one. But are you sure that the upper one, the only 12 inches, upper one, only 12 inches size on that is adequate for the size of this building? Myself, I would review that.
Where is that?
So
Those
these
are all
are
over.
secondary,
These are
like,
these are
you
at
know,
the
with the
balconies.
trash door, the exit door out of the
Either side of
stairs.
balconies,
Yeah.
da-da-da.
Only at the 5th floor balcony, or I guess I should say roof deck.
Yeah, I noticed that when I squinted and tried to measure off the computer screen, the blip on the preliminary elevations, they were reading about 18 inches high, so
Okay.
I would look at that again.
Okay.
We talked about that, we've talked about that. On detail 3 on A7.2.1, and
Get there.
we have a typical comment to have no.
What was
It's
the sheet you said?
external,
7.2.1.
Oh,
yes.
thanks, Jack.
This is still not it.
7.2.1?
The exterior wall at the grade,
Detail 3.
Oh, whoops.
you know, we've, as Cornell and others have throughout, typically architects have solved this by continuing the plaster down into the grade and very closer to the sidewalk by that expansion between upper and lower plaster. This is not quite it. Detail 1 on A7.3. Well, anyway, it's your exterior.
Oh, here we go.
Bingo, yeah. So typically what happens is that these uncovered concrete slabs get too lengthy and ugly, and there's a standard way to
agreed.
continue that pass down into the grade.
We do typically stop it above grade because we found if we bury it below grade, that plaster will weep up and discolor from
Yeah.
the color of the dirt. So we usually stop at like an inch above grade.
Well, with that
Called out that dimension.
call out, you can get 6, 8,
Yeah.
12 inches of raw
Completely
concrete.
agreed.
So,
Yep.
yeah, I'm not arguing,
Yep.
but.
Yep.
Okay, so, and also, I think it also goes for stopping short and exposing raw concrete at some of the tile sills or the same, there's detail to a 4.62. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about, so you don't need to go there. And in windows, I'm noticing that you have windows are shown with vinyl versus metal windows. And I don't know, I think I would have to see, and they're black, I understand that.
Yeah.
But I would have to convince myself that, especially on the front building, which is supposed to be our, this traditional showpiece, that the black vinyl windows are appropriate.
Yeah, we tried to get a sample, and we were unable to have it in time for the meeting, but I agree,
Okay.
we
Well,
need
I
to
would-
bring a sample.
I would like to see both that and your hollow metal full-on door, where you have them. And do you know the extent where you change from metal to vinyl?
Ground floor is aluminum, upper floor is vinyl.
Even the doors on the upper floors are vinyl?
Correct.
Yeah, okay. I would like to see. And lastly, just I think it's a errata, but if you go to A2.2.5 and 6, patience. please. They're the roof plans. The roo-
Okay. I'll get there. The overall roof plan,
Of the front building only.
front building, okay.
I
You
think
want-
they're combined, though.
You want
There's an
the,
enlarged one as well.
you want the sheet number again?
I'm just trying to get there. I can get there this way. Just slow. Oh, yeah, we're out of memory. Okay, we made it.
Those two. Okay, so here we have note 10, which is pad walk around the mechanical equipment. And that seems, on the upper sheet, above that, that is your occupied number 10?
I think that's the roof drains.
Yeah, so note 10 here is the location of the depressed area for internal roof drain and and overflow. So the roof deck is a pedestal paving system.
Okay.
So these drains are below that
Right, okay.
pedestal system.
Somewhere I read it was mechanical equipment.
Maybe on a different sheet.
How about above?
Oh,
Prior sheet.
oh, yeah, so I think you were looking at the general notes, which says provide roof walkway pads around the perimeter of rooftop.
Oh, I'm
mechanical
confused.
equipment.
I
Yeah,
apologize.
yeah, no, I can see how you made that. Yep,
Sorry. Okay, I think with that, I'm
out of memory.
finished with my question. Yeah.
I'm sure we'll come back. All right, Vice Chair, yes, Vice Chair Whalen.
Well, member 6 covered all of my questions. I did have one small one. If you could go to your site plan that included the street and the landscape.
The landscape.
There appears to be a curb cut. Is that existing, or are you proposing that?
No, there is an existing curb cut, but it will get
Removed.
yeah, removed and replaced.
With the curb?
A new curb cut
Okay.
that aligns with the bike parking.
Yeah, so we do have a little curb cut just for the convenience of bikes to the meeting, to that first floor back
Right.
room.
I think that's all and early on, I remember discussions were for the storage building to be exposed block. It's now all plaster.
All plaster.
Okay, those are my questions.
Okay, I'm gonna belabor a point about the access to the electrical room. Did you consider accessing from the side where the generator is located?
We did, but because of the size of and clearance required for the transformer, and then getting a new tree and everything else that's over there, we just couldn't find a solution where it all fit and seemed appropriate.
And we don't have any concern about these oak trees being this close to the structures or maintenance for them or? Okay.
That's a bog.
Maintenance.
No.
Got it, okay. Yeah, understood. And then in the PDA file, did we have vinyl windows in that one?
No.
No,
No.
we did not.
Okay, and what's your manufacturer you're looking at?
Is it
VPI.
VPI?
Okay, so, okay, let me turn this into a question. What is the warranty on a black vinyl window for that company?
I believe it's usually around 10 years.
Okay. Do you have a profile? Is that the profile?
Yes.
Do you know what the style size is that on that?
I don't think we do. I mean, I think
Yeah.
that's something we should definitely bring you a sample and show you.
Yeah,
I
it's
realize
pretty
that's a deviation
concerning.
from the PDA.
Yeah, and since we're near El Pueblo Viejo and we have some sensitive sites nearby, it's kind of concerning to just say, yeah, we're doing vinyl windows, so. Okay, and then my other question on lighting, it was just at the roof deck and at the exit and entry doors, nothing else on the facades? Okay,
We do have some fixtures at the alley side
okay.
for the, access to the storage building.
Mm-hmm. And then what are your projected thoughts on the stormwater management potential impacts? Do you know?
I don't believe there's going to be any.
Okay.
I've seen some correspondence with
Okay.
Civil. There was some confusion that we have underground storage tanks,
Mhm.
and so there was some confusion that those were being used to irrigate. And so that's not the case, so
Okay.
I don't know for 100%, but from my understanding is there shouldn't be any impacts. Yeah.
Okay. And then the door into the electrical room, what is that supposed to look like?
It would be that, well, actually.
Does it look like it had windows and wood or something?
Yeah,
It has a
Okay.
transom.
Yeah.
Transom.
But I think the door itself was similar to the hollow metal.
Yeah, it would
But
be
it-
that textured hollow metal door with a
Oh, I see
transom
what I'm
above.
looking at. Okay.
But that door ultimately should match the door, the exit door
the
that we were
wood
talking
door,
about,
yeah.
yeah. And the door that's to the right there.
Yes.
So we will try to get a sample of that as well.
Okay, any follow-up questions? Okay, so then let's go into comments. I'm sure a lot of the questions alluded to comments. And we're here for final. Okay, so Vice Chair Whalen, would you like to start with comments?
In general, I think it's ready for final approval. I appreciate the level of details that we've come to expect from Cornell. They're robust and in the Santa Barbara spirit. Excellent character details. I have some reservations about bike parking on the upper floors and bicycle damage to doorways and elevators, but that's not part of, that's up to you and your client to work that out. I would like to see that curb cut and the street trees, Bob, if there's any flexibility in working with the city on locating a location of street trees, that curb cut and the street trees should frame the entryway. It's just jarring to me to have a tree put sort of off-center on an entry door.
I'm sure we can do that.
And the railings for both the generator and the stair to the electric room should be the same details that you use on your balcony, that is with the quarter-turn pickets and that lovely level of detail that you've expressed on the dwelling units. And I, like others, have reservations about that whole stair assembly to the electrical room. I would reiterate Chair Anderson's question about locating it on the other side. That was my first impulse, but I'm sure they worked their way through it. But still, I would disagree with you, Mr. Cornell, that it enhances the building. I think that whole stair and rail and kind of detracts from the lovely symmetrical elegance that you've achieved. Those are my comments.
All right, Board Member 6.
Well, the bottom line is that even though the basic mass bulk scale arrangement of the parts are in substantial conformity to the preliminary, I find it very short of satisfactory in the handling. And again, I apologize that we did not have more review of details or demand more details at preliminary, but I think that the details of what's actually seen here presented to us now at final fall short of what's expected for conformity to an assumed level of quality, especially in the front building. So I don't think it's in substantial conformance to the preliminary, and would want to see further review and refinement to the details, and basically all of the things I have mentioned.
Board Member Black?
Yeah, I think I would have to agree. Sorry,
Please.
I'd have to agree. And it seems like the applicant is willing to come back with some details and materials, so I'm not sure this is entirely suitable for final at this point, but.
Okay. Yeah, I would agree that I don't think it's ready for final. I guess unfortunately, we assumed that the details from PDA would, I guess we assumed details at PDA that would be here, and they're not. I think the detailing of the vents is going to be really important. Yeah, I guess it's a learning lesson from us to request that at PDA, because that really messes up the elevation, along with those plaster joints and transitions. Yeah, I think everything that Board Member 6 brought up, all these little details are what's really going to make this project stand out. So everything from the rafter ends to the 45-degree rafter to the plaster edging at the ground to how it transitions to grade. I mean, all of this needs to meet the standards that we said this project was acceptable in this location. The vinyl windows are very concerning in my opinion. I think if that's something that has to be used in this project, the profiles are going to be very important. Looking for narrow profiles. Obviously, we want black. Black vinyl usually doesn't last that long. So maybe trying to find something with a longer warranty or less maintenance. The oak trees are concerning in their locations, but we've talked about that, I don't know, I think every meeting you've had, so. Yeah, I guess as Board Member 6 mentioned, this is still in substantial conformance from mass, bulk, and scale. The access to the electrical room is unfortunate. Understood why it's there. So, yeah, those are my comments. Yes.
I have a follow-up. I think that at least on the front building, these problematic vents should have over them, I know that you have to have the louvered, downward-facing louver for water, but I could see a decorative, patterned, traditional, additional covering to them, and have them determine your worst size and determine a elegant proportion consistently for those. And again, you know, slightly recessed and so forth. I think that would be a place where I would accept these vents, given that they're so necessary.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also, I very resonate with Chair Anderson's concern about the vinyl. A building of this sort is going to be there for 100 years. And to have a 10-year warranty on vinyl doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah. Yes.
So I have a question.
Yes.
As long as we're looking at everything, one of the things I want to be sure that you are aware of, that you're okay with, is that we are proposing spandrel glass on a number of the openings on the storage building. And Jack, you have a sample of that, right? So I want to make sure that that's going to be okay. So you can see we've got some that are natural and actually are going to be illuminated so that there's some sense of life on these elevations, but the one you see are black are intended to be a, that's right, they're intended to be a spandrel glass. So that, I want to be sure you're aware of that and are okay with it. Obviously, the frame that they're in is undetermined right now, but those windows that we're showing then would be that spandrel glass.
Sorry, did you say why some are clear and some are, what was your
The
thought?
intent is that the ones that are clear would have illumination behind them so that there's some life to the building and it's not just always dark.
Because you can't
so-
get any light through this one?
No, those
Oh,
are,
I see
that is
that.
spandrel glass.
Or they've got a wall behind them.
So they,
I'm trying to, yeah. Oh, shoot.
So they're not transmitting natural light to
Nothing,
the
yeah.
interior?
they are not.
Correct.
Yeah, they back up to like the storage units.
They're display windows?
Yeah, or fake windows.
I'm trying to show an example of.
Chair Anderson, two
Yes.
questions. You have some spandrel glass in the front building also to cushion the innards of the equipment room?
No, I don't think so.
Well, there's some black,
In the residential portion?
yeah, the bottom floor of the front building?
No.
They're all clear windows?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
they're all clear. It's only on that storage building that you'd have the spandrel glass.
Second question, is this the appropriate color or should it be darker?
Well, we looked at different options, and this seemed like the best. It
I'll
would
leave-
look
leave it
like,
to you.
during the day, it looks more like glass. I mean, they have a plethora of colors and things, but I don't want to do that, so.
They've got some that are, more this color.
Every color of the rainbow.
We felt.
Leave it, it was just an initial gut
Yeah.
question, but I'll leave it to your studying that.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a nice color.
And then the other thing I wanted to ask Barbara, I think we would, since it sounds like we're going to have a continuance, I'd like to try to get a 2-week continuance. And I'm wondering whether we can still submit to the building department, since that process takes so long, at risk to get the plan check going, since it usually takes a couple of weeks just to get the fee paid and all of that processed. That would, I know, help
For
the
code
client.
change. What's happening?
I might take that question from Barbara. I can tentatively put you on the schedule 2 weeks from now, but plans need to be in sooner than later. So I'll have to give a date to Barbara to give to you. And then in terms of doing an at-risk buildings submittal, reach out to Jose Barajas, the building supervisor, and see how he feels about submitting for an at-risk building permit.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do think a 2-week turnaround is pretty quick to get me plans and leave me time to review them,
Is
so.
it possible to get a continuance to the following, to a 4-week
4 weeks,
continuance then?
So I think what we would do today, if the board chooses to go this direction, is we would continue it indefinitely, but then work with us staff and your timelines to get on an agenda. So 2 weeks, 4 weeks, I have openings. I just need to know where you all will be at with your plans and submission times. And so we'll work together to maybe find an acceptable date for.
I'm just, the reason I would like to get us on the agenda is just because we know, we've identified the very specific things. It's not like you need to review the whole plans. I
So-
mean, we really need to come back to the board with those details, right?
Right, so I think we could tentatively schedule for 2 weeks, not guaranteed, depending on your timelines. Plus, there was some stormwater stuff that needs to be addressed, most likely 4 weeks. So I can put you down for I can tentatively schedule you out for 2 weeks, but it's pending a lot of things.
Well, maybe it would be better to schedule 4 weeks, and then there's some time, and we can get these samples, and, there won't.
Yeah.
At
So-
least then we'll be on an agenda.
Yeah, feel free to talk to us after the meeting, yeah.
Okay, so let's make a motion. You gonna go for it?
Sure.
Okay.
The board is proposing a indefinite continuance for the fact that the final plans are not in substantial conformity to the assumed quality of the preliminary design approval plans, and that quickly, but not mentioning all things that need to be addressed, is number one, I think we need to see a graphic study of why the electrical room entry cannot be turned 90 degrees. We need to see an upgrade of the fence in front of the new transformer with Spanish quality as reflected in the stair railings. We need to see more vines or opaque plants in front of that, in the location of that fence in front of the transformer. We need to see corner 45-degree beams on the eaves, rafter tails. We need to see detail on the door to the southwest entry, exit door. We need to see details on the vents, that they should be semi-recessed and they should have a decorative grill in front of the utilitarian louvered vent. Do we need to do that in the back building too, you think?
I'd say it's less of a concern.
Less of a concern. I still would like to see them recessed in the back building. I think that the plan should reflect one direction of mission tile detailing, and with standards expected from this particular designer. We need to see further refinement of the exterior wall plaster at grade and the exterior tile at grade to see that it can be minimized to barely touching the earth and not expose the concrete edges. That, and most importantly, that the vinyl windows shown are very questionable, and we'd like to see other than vinyl, and if not, need to be convinced that the vinyl product selected is of high quality. I think that's basically about it.
Yeah, I'll second that. Any discussion? Okay, let's take a vote.
Chair Anderson?
Yes.
Vice Chair Whalen?
Yes.
Board Member Black?
Yes.
Board Member Six?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, thank you. All right,
Thank
we'll
you.
see
We
you
will
as
work on this.
soon
I'm
as we
sorry.
can.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
I need to take a 1.5 minute break. We are moving on to item 4. Apologies for the delay. 523 West Gutierrez Street. Proposal to demolish the existing single-family residence, one-car garage, and storage room to construct a new 3-story, 9-unit apartment building under the city's average unit size density program and state bonus law, with 8 automobile parking spaces and 9 bicycle parking spaces. The average unit size is 597 square feet and will provide 1 very low income and 1 moderate income restricted unit. Concessions and waivers from common and private open yard, setback, solar access, and parking lot landscape standards are requested as part of SDBL. Final approval is requested, requires substantial conformance to the plans granted, project design approval on April 14th, 2025. Anything from staff before we get going?
No.
Okay. April, different project. Okay. Welcome back.
Thank you.
All right. Please introduce yourself. You'll have 15 minutes to walk us through updates, changes, final.
I'm Bobby Walker with BWD.
Katie Klein, RRM Design Group.
All right. There's a couple updates I have for you. One is from the original design, you saw PDA. We went through code compliance, and our egress balcony was too close to the property line. So it is now an enclosed exit corridor. We took a lot of consideration in looking at, I would say, every possible scenario for how to solve that adjustment, because we're at 6. Yeah, I'll move to that now so we can look at it. Here we go, on this, southern elevation. So this is the elevation that faces the neighbor that we've been in contact with, who also comes and speaks at the meetings. So our number one concern with that elevation is privacy and his privacy. So we looked at, what if we did the corridor or an open egress balcony on the other side? That actually creates more view into the neighbor's yard, and it also eliminates private deck space that we have right now. So it's kind of a long way of saying this kept the massing substantially the same as it was before. And even though there's now windows in that elevation, it's actually a smaller opening down into the neighbor's yard, because originally it was shown as an open egress balcony. In a lot of ways, I like the direction the design went because it's more homogeneous as a building now. It's not chopped up as much on that side. I like the way the windows turned out. So I wanted to preface that as I walked through the plans a little bit. I know you've seen this, and there's not much change outside of that exit corridor that needs to lead to the enclosed exit staircase. So those are where the majority of the updates happen. I'll zoom in here on the ground floor. So you can see we've enclosed the stairwell, and then above on subsequent floors, we provided an exit corridor to that stairwell. So the result is the building massing and the constraints of the building stay the same, but we're just going up to the roof above. And we already have a waiver allowed for that third floor setback, so we're just continuing to use that. That's already been granted in the last meeting. So here's that south elevation. Just looking at the other elevations quick, this east elevation and west elevation are substantially just as they were in the project design approval, except for this third floor where we've enclosed that staircase. The north elevation, I do not believe we have added or changed any windows. There was just a little bit of shuffling a few inches as we adjusted for bedrooms and finalizing dimensions. And then the south elevation is where we have that adjustment where this elevation was enclosed, and then we have windows in that corridor. The windows here are aligned with the doors entering into the units and a little window that's still in that hallway for the kitchen, so that if you're looking out the kitchen or you come out your door, you still get natural light, and kind of that's your view. You look out the window. Sorry. I have an updated color and materials board that's more specific, and I talked to Will ahead of time, and it sounds like we can, if you don't mind passing those around.
City TV, do you mind using the overhead camera? Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Some color chips. So the original package that was submitted last Wednesday lacked some detail and color chips and numbers. So we've gone ahead and updated that to this. These are from the Santa Barbara colors. I know those are specifically for Mediterranean design, Spanish design. But we thought these colors went well with our building and would blend in nicely into the neighborhood. So we have that Greek villa color for the trim, and then that natural tan color for the base of the building. I think that's the majority of the architectural items I wanted to walk through, and then I'll hand it over to Katie to talk about the landscape.
Yeah, there hasn't been any changes to landscape. It's very similar, so I'm just here for questions.
Oh. I think that concludes our presentation. Thank you.
Okay, we will open up public comment for item number 4.
Thank you, Chair Anderson. I'll start with in-person public comment. At this time, I do not have any slips for this particular project. And if anyone wants to make a comment, they may fill out a slip and bring it to me. I see no one in the audience moving to do so, so now we will turn our attention to virtual attendance. And at this time, I do not see any hands raised for this project, and we did not receive any written correspondence. So at that, I'll turn it back over to you, Chair Anderson.
Okay, thanks. We'll close public comment for item number 4 and move to questions from the board. Board Member Black, questions?
I have no questions.
Board Member Noon?
What is the sill height of that window, that upper window?
Level 2?
Level 3.
Level 3.
The higher one. I forgot to look at that. I saw those, but I forgot to.
is third floor windows. The
In the enclosed hallway is what he's.
Just, yeah, I'm sorry, just the enclosed hallway.
Oh, the ones that are on the interior of the building?
No.
The ones, if you're in the corridor,
Oh, okay. Sorry.
south wall. Sorry, that was a very vague way to ask that question.
What are the sills of every window on this project?
Sorry about that.
So you, the third floor, so there's 67 through 62 window, okay. Yeah, these are 3'8", yeah. So what happened there is we kept the roof line the same and continue to bring it down. So in the building section, it's lower on that side. So the whole change, trying to not raise the roof of the building or change the massing substantially, it continues to come down. So that plate right there is at about 7.2 or so as it continues down.
Okay, that's it.
Board Member 6.
Has the neighbor reviewed these changes?
Yeah, the client has reached out to the neighbor directly. He's here, the client's here today, and he's spoken to him, and he seems happy that we were reached out and we're concerned about privacy as a number one factor.
Mr. Walker, do you do a preliminary code check on your projects?
Yes, sometimes not well enough.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, it's very frustrating to laboriously go through one design several times to have it evaporate, so it's frustrating.
I agree.
What about the the second floor windows? They have a lowered sill. Did you consider making those higher for the benefit of the neighbor also? Can we see that elevation?
Yeah, of course. I think the short answer to that question is yes. The reason we did the larger windows is because our original design intent was to have an open walkway. So, I'm sorry, I have a hard time multitasking here. So the walking through it, obviously, with the client and going from having an open walkway of light now to windows, we did proportions of windows that we thought looked balanced on the elevation, but brought in as much light as possible. So that's why they're larger there. They're smaller on the top because of the consideration for the roof coming down,
Yeah.
and proportionally, it looks strange to have larger windows up there, and also the the head height of that window is a little bit lower on the third floor to accommodate for that.
Well, maybe beating a dead horse, but could you keep the proportions of the windows the same on that second floor, only raising them to, have very minimal header below the ceiling?
I think just for continuity with the second floor, I think we'd keep them, maybe that's what you're saying, but at the 7-foot head height of the other windows on that floor. But I guess we could make the proportions of the windows match the third floor if maybe.
No, I'm not saying that. Just have the proportions of the second floor windows the same, but only raise both sill and header. See how the topmost windows are very close to the header or the roof line?
Yeah.
Could the second floor windows be very close
Flush them out.
to that belly band?
Oh.
Or floor line?
Yeah. Personally, I think they look nice when they're the same head height as other windows.
They look nice, but they're
on the floor.
Okay, I'll give it up.
Vice Chair Whalen?
Did you use up all your energy on
Yeah.
previous? Mr. Walker, are those newly enclosed corridor windows fixed or operable?
These exterior ones are operable.
They are operable, so that will be the ventilation in this
Yes.
sort of glazed corridor?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
That's my only question.
Can you go back to the second floor plan? And zoom into that walkway and the alignment of these windows?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there's kind of some extra windows in there, or?
Yeah, definitely. So the intent was have one outside of each door, and you can see it's more, they're balanced in the elevation. For instance, this door, you still get the benefit of light, but the door alignment to the window is not quite the same as this door alignment to this window, but that's so that we can get even spacing on the doors on the exterior elevation. And then there's one window between each of the doors in the walkway, in the corridor, excuse me.
And you had to connect this enclosed corridor with the stairwell, or could the stairwell be open and then you walk into an enclosed corridor? It all had to be enclosed.
The enclosed corridor had to
And
lead to
an
the
enclosed stair.
stairwell.
But the one to the right doesn't have to be,
Yeah, as a secondary one.
because it's a secondary.
Less than 50% of the occupant load.
Okay. And then on the color palette, did you consider doing your third floor a different color than your first two floors?
Yes, considering that this is a three-story building in a style that's often done as 2 stories, we thought that maybe that third floor being a different color kind of made it actually look bigger and stand out more as being 3 stories. So the keeping one color for the entire building and choosing a lighter color in the renders we did at mock-ups we did appeared to have the smallest impact visually for the building.
Okay. And then would you be willing to go find a light fixture that's 2,700 Kelvin versus 3,000 for your exterior sconce?
Yes.
Okay, let's go to comments. Who wants to start?
I have a follow-up.
Okay, question.
I don't know why I wrote this down, but would you go to A707, detail 41 and 33? I think. Oh, I know what it was. I think. Yeah, why do you have to have a 2x10 fascia? That seems very bulky and not in line with the lightness of your building. It's also occurring on the rake. Why is that so deep?
Yeah, the fascia and the barge board at 2x10.
Don't know.
I agree with you, the direction you're headed.
Okay.
Yes, I think it's the
Right.
short answer. I like the input that it could reduce the bulkiness.
Yeah. That's on the rake too.
Okay, it's fascia and barge board.
Okay, let's go to comments for final approval. Board Member Black?
I don't have any specific comments. I do think it's ready for final.
Board Member Noon?
I wouldn't have anything to add to that. I would agree it's ready.
Vice Chair Whalen?
I would reluctantly agree with fellow board members. Mr. Walker, you've been very accommodating to all of our comments, but, you know, we've ended up with a design that is, well, I remember your original inspirational photographs, and I kept hoping that every iteration would reflect some of those. However, it's kind of gone the other way. And, well, like I say, I reluctantly approve the design. I'm not crazy about this at all.
Board Member Six?
I do share that reluctancy, but, you know, we're here for substantial conformance, and I think that in this case, fortunately, the serious breach of the code requirements requiring a breach from the original design doesn't trigger non-conformance, so I'll have to vote for it too.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. I'm not convinced that all 3 floors need to be the same color. I'm not crazy about the light fixture. I think it could be a little bit more shielded and 2700 Kelvin. I think your bottom 2 floors could be a slight, like staying in the same family, just slight darker than the natural tan. And your roofing, instead of a cool gray, I'd go warm, since these are kind of warm colors. Same with your wood is warm. Who would like to make a motion?
I think you should. I think your added comments, I resonate with them also, so
Okay,
go
okay,
for it.
then we'll make final approval, and the project is in substantial conformance with the plans granted PDA on April 14th, 2025. With the following comments: the exterior light fixture shall be 2700 Kelvin and more shielded than provided. That the roofing material shall be a warm gray instead of cool gray. And that the the first and second floor paint color shall be slightly darker than the natural tan that was provided.
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion? All right, let's take a vote.
Chair Anderson,
Yes.
Vice Chair Whalen,
Yes.
Board Member Black,
Yes.
Board Member Noon,
Yes.
Board Member Six.
Yes, but we forgot the 2x10 fascia.
Oh.
Can we
Yes, sorry.
stick that in?
We'll revote.
So,
So the other what?
I was just gonna say, so we'll just do an amended motion.
Yes, amended motion, item number 4, 5, or whatever we're on, that the fascia board shall be a 2x8
Or
or smaller.
to harmonize with the rest of the fascia boards?
Yeah.
Can we get a second on that?
Second.
Okay, sorry, now let's vote.
Chair Anderson?
Yes.
Vice Chair Whalen?
Amended, yes.
Board Member Black?
Yes.
Board Member Noon?
Yes.
Board Member Six?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, there's a 10-day appeal period. Here are
Thank
all
you.
your materials. Okay, and moving on to our last item. 428 Anacapa Street. For final approval, the proposed project involves demolition of 2 single-family residences and a detached garage and construction of a new mixed-use structure comprising 6 short-term rental units on the ground floor, 9 long-term rental apartments on the second through fourth floors. Proposed density is 61.6 units an acre, and average size of the long-term residential units is 824 square feet, consistent with Santa Barbara Municipal Code Title 30 Priority Housing Overlay Standards. 6 covered parking spaces will be provided to serve the non-residential use. No parking spaces are required to serve the long-term residential use pursuant to SBMC and California Assembly Bill 2097. Final approval is requested. Project requires substantial conformance to the plans granted. Project design approval by the full board on April 28th, 2025. And I know we had quite a few comments from the last meeting. So welcome back. Anything from staff before we?
No comments from staff. I can pull up those old minutes if you would
Yeah.
like to see. One moment.
I printed them because,
It's fine. Here are the minutes from the last time this project was in front of the board.
all right, well, welcome back. Please introduce yourselves. We haven't seen you in a long time. And walk us through the final details and any major changes.
Yeah. You want to?
Sure. Chris Gilliland with Common Ground, landscape architect.
Thank you. And Bobby Walker again with BWD. Oh, yeah.
We could do it again.
Yeah. I think I just opened up the wrong ones. My bad.
Thank you. All right. Thanks for having us back. For the most part, I think everybody just got a chance to look at those comments. We've addressed a couple of them, and I can walk through that. And we also have another code compliance update in this plan that's similar to the last one, but I think substantially less impactful, and I think you'll like the elevation better, hopefully. And I do apologize for the surprise. So on this plan, there were a couple things that were asked for. One comment, or two of the comments had to do with trellises. So I just want to talk about the trellises for a second and where we've moved on from that. There used to be a trellis on the second floor patio. Can you all see my cursor? Mm-hmm. Okay. And there were some comments about it being, at one point, it was too contemporary, and then it was too traditional. And we tried pulling it back, and it's right under this eave that comes down right above it. And because the height of the eave comes down pretty low, the trellis started to feel like it was getting really crowded. And when we worked through our detailing on the project, the doors started to get more and more recessed. So instead of having a trellis in that area, we thought the form of the building looked better without one. So we've completely eliminated the trellis there, and that was in response to those comments and continuing to look at it. The trellis on the fourth floor is tucked back, so you see it in the elevation here, but it'll be actually really tough to see from the street. So that we continue to develop it just in a more simplified form. There's a lot of roof rake and eave detailing that are going to make the project look really nice. So we didn't want to distract with another type of detailing that was for the trellis, especially since we were going a little bit more contemporary with our colors. So we stuck with that heavier post and beam look where the trellis members are within the beams of the trellis, not on top with any detailed ends. This west elevation is the elevation that has had the most change through construction development from PDA. So this was open on the west elevation. It's too close to the property line, so it's been enclosed. We continued the smaller windows that we have on the left side of that west elevation. We just continued the same pattern and balance to the right side. This side of the project is further back So from behind our project, we have a 3.5-story building, and then directly adjacent to this portion of the project, we have a parking lot on the neighbor's property, which is why the windows, in a way, were originally so small. That and just not the style of the building, creating more massing in this project always seems to help the elevation in a project where we're pushing the windows a little bit with a more contemporary design. So there's larger openings on this project, so these opportunities for smaller windows we thought balanced well. I also have an updated color and materials board for this project.
City TV, may we use the overhead cam again? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, the playing cards. These colors are also out of the Santa Barbara colors. So Greek Villa for the base of the project. And then they changed the color of it from Sherman-Williams recently, I think so. The dark brown. It used to be called Plantation Shutter. So that's what it's called at the city still in the booklet, but they changed it to dark brown, I think, for obvious reasons. And then we have that, let's see here. Yeah, we have that accent color for the steel railings. That's also out of the Santa Barbara colors. That's much darker. So we're going with the black Milgard windows style line is what the client wants to use. That's the series from Milgard. So they have the black lifetime warranty. So this is going with the matching the colors. And I think those are all the updates I have regarding the elevation and design updates. And with that, I'll pass it over to Chris.
I think I could probably just walk through it if you want to.
Yep.
Either way, I can man it if you want.
Sure.
Okay, so, yeah. There we go, okay. So, so we are basically just planting and irrigation here, and we're just keeping up with the changes that were made. And so not much to look at with the irrigation. But we are irrigating the pots on the second, third, and fourth floor. So we're running those up from valves at the ground floor. Irrigation details and planting. Apologize, is a little small, but so I guess really the only change here was mostly on the ground floor. I think the last time you saw this, or at least the last time you saw the landscape plans, that was all sort of stormwater flow, and so they had a lot of juncus and things like that. We still have juncus because I think it's a good idea for this project, but we were able to fit in some other chondropedilum and a little Mediterranean fan palm over here. And we still have some of the vines on the fences and whatnot, and we have some pots also in the front, which were also there. And it looks like I didn't get the memo on the second floor trellis, so that would come off here. But we'd keep the pot there. Otherwise, it's very simple, straightforward. We are using trying to keep light pots for obvious reasons for weight. So we're using Tournesol. And just a smattering of pots on those upper floors, plantless, obviously all low water use. And here's a little sample of the Turnusol planners that we're looking at and our WeLo calcs. So that's pretty much it. Very simple. If you have any questions.
Okay, does that wrap up your presentation?
Thank you. Yes, that wraps up
Okay.
the presentation.
We'll open up public comment for item number 5.
Thank you, Chair Anderson. At this time, I do not have any slips for this particular project, and I don't see anyone in the audience to make a comment. So we will turn our attention to virtual attendance. And at this time, I do not see any hands raised virtually for this project, and we did not receive any written correspondence. So at that, I will turn it back over to you, Chair Anderson.
Okay, thank you. There were some other comments on here that you didn't address, and so I was just gonna run through them quickly to see if you have comments on those.
Okay.
It says, consider a slightly less transparent railing on the ocean side elevation in consideration for the neighbor's benefit. Can we look at that?
Yeah, thank you. So we didn't go with a less transparent railing, but we made the opening significantly smaller. It's cruising up to the elevations here. These are the main areas I believe you were talking about. So in our initial iteration, these are almost completely open, and then the last one, they're even smaller. And this final set, we reduced the size down so they're spaced evenly, and then the idea being that they're kind of in these key little locations outside the door. So one for each unit. But so we've reduced them and then raised the sill a little bit. And there's planting there. I do want to go to the landscape plan so we can. Here we go. There's planting there intentionally for that consideration, so to add more privacy.
Okay, and then it says, consider reducing or eliminating corbels and decorative openings by about 2/3.
Okay, I'll go back to the elevation to address this comment. Oh, shoot. So we had multiple types of openings, and we've reduced it to one opening style. I think it's referring to this detailing here and where else we use it. So we've created a shape that's it's taller and less wide. So before it was a much wider shape. We thought this was a little more elegant, but still provided the look. So this is a little graphical error there. That'll be flush, but still providing the aesthetic our client was looking for. And additionally, in the front, in areas like where you drive in, it creates more head space or overhead space. It doesn't protrude in it quite as much.
Okay, so this elevation, this front elevation, looks different than the front elevation on this rendering. One of the comments was, study the slope of the tile awnings above the door entries?
Yes.
And that looks like you did a continuous awning over those 2 doors, and this
Yeah.
rendering has 2 separate, and it looks shallower. So did you change the slope?
Yeah, that's a great comment. So I think it was Noon's comment in the board member Noon's comment in the last meeting. So the slope, we basically doubled the slope. So it appeals, you see more of the roof when you're looking straight at the awnings. Before they matched the roof pitch, so you could barely see any of it. Secondly, we actually explored a couple, board member Anderson, who's not here today, he had some comments about the simplicity of the awnings and the style. So we actually explored a couple different awnings to see if something else worked better. And we actually liked this original concept we had that was approved in PDA, so we continued to develop that and make it a little less bulky, which helped. So it's a little bit, the proportions of the brackets are a little bit skinnier and less bulky. But one thing we noticed was that this, when we had these individual awnings over each door, it made it feel more like it was just like a plant-on manufactured awning. So by taking advantage, let's see, because we do it on another elevation as well, by creating a little more width to the awning, it didn't feel like each of these had just kind of a tack-on awning. It felt more substantially part of the building. So that's why we did that in a couple locations.
What is your door height? How tall is your door?
I believe the exterior doors here are 8 feet, but I can double check on that.
So the awning could lower? You could lower
Yes.
that awning?
Yeah, it could lower a little bit.
Okay, then we had some questions about eliminating the stone cap on the upper balcony floors, but maintaining a small, delicate scallop. And then we were looking forward to detailing of the rakes and eaves so that they're more traditional. Can you just run us through those details and what you did there?
Yeah, and as far as the cap detail, if I remember correctly, I think it
Just
was...
said consider, so.
Oh, consider, yeah, because I think it was maybe split between the board at the time. So we reviewed it with the client, and I guess the client and I preferred this design, so we stuck with the original one.
The stone?
Yeah, with the stone. Okay, thank you for hanging in there with me. So we have 2 different types of eave details on this project. We have a no overhang detail with the plaster scalloping up right underneath the gutter. And then we have a second one here that has a 1 foot overhang. And I believe previously on the project, we just had like this 1 foot overhang everywhere, eaves, rakes, and then also in the design. And we were showing really big barge board that didn't really fit with the style. And we have a really big fascia too at where the gutter was, which didn't match or accentuate the detailing that we have here under the eave. So that's our updated eave detailing. It's S-tile roofing. And then the rake detail everywhere is with no overhang with that scallop detailing. And the reason we have this eave condition is it happens in a couple places. Let me show you on the elevation. I believe we used it here where we had a secondary gable because it simplified the detailing, so you didn't have this long eave overhanging the rest of the roof where you can't really detail underneath or flash or waterproof.
Okay, and then it said looking for a successful location solution for the transformer.
We've been working with the contractor's electrician, and he is working with PG&E, and he's confident that the transformer is not going to go on site, that it's going to go on a pole.
On a pole?
Mm-hmm. Yes. And so that's.
Do you know where, like?
I do not have the pole located on the site plan, but that's where we're at with the design right now, and that's what I've been instructed by the contractor's consultant.
Okay, and then can you just go to the first floor plan real quick before, sorry, I'll get to you guys.
Often, it's
So as you're getting there, this rendering indicates that the stone wall stops and then there's like a concrete looking planter, but then the planters looks wood And then this sounds like this is out of date, so I just want to see what's going on in that first floor entry.
Yes, I agree, this renders out of date. The planter matches Chris and the planter.
But so
should-
the stone stops and then there's a planter? Like the stone doesn't continue back to the facade of the building?
No,
Do we have that on the
Yeah.
landscape plan or the floor plan?
I'll pull it up to
Site
show
plan?
what we have right now.
Okay.
Hmm.
So no walls, just planters?
Yeah, the intent though is to have those walls, so we need to, Chris and I need to coordinate that. But I think it makes sense for that wall to go, the stone wall to either continue back or that whole front L corner to be planters.
Okay, let's continue with questions. Vice Chair Whalen.
Yes, thank you, Chair Anderson. Mr. Walker, I'm looking at the color sheet that you gave us, and I may have taken a micro nap due to eating too many cookies, but I don't see this black of night C indicated anywhere on your illustration. So where is black of night C used?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, it's used for the railing. It should be, that's
On the railing?
Yeah, on the railing.
That
So
makes
powder,
sense.
yeah, the powder
That
coated
makes
railings.
sense. And if you could go to any one of your second, third, or fourth floor plans to show us which areas had to be enclosed due to the code discovery.
Oops.
It's this portion of the building from grid line 4 to grid line 5, for the most part.
So that's similar to your other project, an enclosed
Yes.
corridor with
Yeah.
operable windows.
Mhm.
And that happens at those two locations, grid line 1, 2, and 4, 5, right?
1, 2 was already like that in the previous
Was
design.
already like
Yeah,
that.
so it's just this
Okay.
area from 4 to 5.
And then if you go to that tile detail, it's on A707, detail 12. You're proposing an S tile with another tile placed on top of it at the first row. Do I read that correctly? Yes, on detail 12 up there in the upper right-hand corner. So it's an S tile with another tile stuck on top at the first course.
No, that.
How does that
is-
work?
Yes, sorry, that is what this detail shows. That was not the intent. It's, to not have that second tile there.
Oh, so it's just all S tile?
Yes.
Nothing?
Sorry for that, yeah.
All
That-
right.
You're reading the detail correct, and that detail needs to be
Okay,
updated.
those are my questions. Thank you for the clarifications.
Board Member 6.
So, Mr. Walker, we located the enclosed corridors, but is not the parking area on ground floor also need to be enclosed where it was open before?
Yes, you are right.
So those now have become blank walls as opposed to openings with vines and blah, blah, blah.
Yes, that's
Correct?
correct. And
Okay,
one,
thank you.
this,
Never mind, that's fine. On the north elevation, there are, I guess, condenser units hung on the wall, is that correct? Is that what I'm seeing?
yes, in this portion of the plan right here?
Yeah.
Yeah, they are hung between the first and second floor, and it
Okay.
faces a parking lot.
So would you go to the 700 sheet and the 701? And where is detail 35 on, if you're on 701, where is and what is the extent of detail 32, which has, I think, significant flashing?
Oh, detail 32.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The column post with a structurally engineered stirrup. Where does that go?
This is what you're talking about here?
Yeah, sorry.
That's on the 4th floor for the trellis.
So you have a concrete base on the fourth floor?
On the 4th floor.
Raised concrete base to the column?
The detail has not been resolved with structural yet at the time of this set.
Okay.
And
And
the
then,
intent being it's above the,
okay.
yeah.
And then detail on 700 sheet, detail 35. Yeah. Where is that significant, length of flashing? Is that a typical? Where
this,
is that?
yeah, this 35 detail.
Yeah.
That's in our, this is more of a typical flash and detail sheet, so I don't think this one occurs in the set.
Really? Okay. Thank you.
Board Member Black?
Simple question, where are you anticipating your backflow preventer to be located? You show it on the plan.
Yeah, it's,
Do you have any
we
room
got
to
some,
screen it?
yeah, we ended up with some room on the right side of the entry. We have chondropedilum there, tectorum.
Got it. Okay, thanks. That's all.
Board Member Noon?
Yeah, just quickly, I was going to comment on the cap, the stone cap, but if the board is split and that's what you guys prefer, then it is what it is. Can you go to a section through the elevator? Is there, have you, is that resolved, the overrun and the floor height? It looked like maybe the elevator was going to raise up, so then the overrun might be too short, or have you resolved that? And then if so, obviously, what does that do to your roof?
Yeah, I think I see what you're talking about. I got to take another look at it, but it does look like it'll be really tight.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I think that was it. Yeah, that was it for me.
Okay, I don't have any follow-up questions, so let's go to comments. Vice Chair Whalen.
Sure. Thank you, Chair Anderson. Well, the light fixture that you illustrate on the sheet here, I think, is a little too contemporary and should reflect more of the Santa Barbara character that you're trying to exude in your design. The north elevation, if you could flip to that, I realize it's on an interior lot line. It seems awfully blank and could be enlivened by a panel or a frame or something that breaks up. Sorry, I don't know which sheet, I can't remember which sheet that was, but I think you know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that could be enlivened by some false frames or panels, or especially on the upper floors,
Okay.
second or third.
Only about a half a floor of that is above the roof of the building behind, and we're within about 8 inches of that building.
It would be helpful to illustrate that by a
Understood.
dotted
Okay.
line, then, how much of that is truly visible, and perhaps it leaves some in, the same might be said of the west elevation, that one peaked gable you have. Perhaps that is the same situation, but that could be enlivened with a similar sort of frame. This is a bit personal, but the corbels, and you have reduced them to my mind, could be enlivened if they were expressed, that is, set back from the wall face. This is especially true at the garage. There's something that doesn't work quite right, where on one side it just runs into the flat wall, on the other side it has, I guess, a post. It's hard to tell, but that's neither here nor there. I appreciate the very thorough plant list, Chris, and I don't feel that the dark bronze doors and windows is appropriate for, to express the Santa Barbara nature and character, and that some more traditional color would be expressed. Those are my comments.
Board Member 6.
Where did this building go? I am so disappointed. I know that we're long in time here, but let me just go through a quick list. East elevation, there's a miserable potpourri of openings on the third floor. There's windows and corbelled openings and doors and da-da-da. It just makes no sense, no consistency. The blank and high bare wall of the first floor garage is with no attempt to even provide any decoration to it is unfortunate. We've lost the interesting punches at the left part of the garage entry on the left back part of that elevation. The adjacent openings and wall, or where the openings, the garage entry have lost reasonable proportions. There is an awkward transom window above the third floor left, which is, to my mind, very unfortunate. West elevation, the opening balconies being gone, this looks like a building that's too close to the property line to have any interest to it. And the simple windows, and the gable used to have punches in it to have a decorative thing. Again, opposite the blank wall at the garage is problematic to me. We have on the right-hand side of that, we've lost the scallops from the front balcony, right-hand balcony, to the gable that we had on the preliminary. Third floor, there's no significant mission tile shed roof above the right-hand living room unit. Combining these tile sheds above the doors, I found that loses kind of this repeating element that I thought was a signature and quite charming. So now we've combined them and lost that signature element that turns the corner there to the front. We've lost, we're still working on the west elevation. We've lost the varied rhythm of the small windows on the second floor bedroom windows at that second story gable. Front elevation, same comment as the combined sheds. We've lost those, that charm. And oh, by the way, you've got a flashing problem of the windows above on those shed roofs. There's no room to do reasonable flashing below that large window. We've lost interest in the second story patio trellis. It's even less traditional. Oh, the second story patio, I think is a shame that we lost that. Third floor trellis is even more or less traditional. I just can't find substantial conformity, and very disappointed in the result of both the massages that you've made and the consequences of the code compliance things here. So I don't know where this building went, but it's not anywhere close to what I saw in preliminary.
Board Member Black?
I have no comments.
Board Member Noon?
Yeah, I don't know that I would add any more to that. I mean, obviously, you've got to work out confirm the overrun, but yeah, I don't have anything else to add.
Okay. I think it's hard to give final when it seems like there's a lot of, there's not a lot of coordination that has happened between all the different consultants that are required, and then things have evolved enough to the point where it isn't as, we can't find substantial conformance. I mean, I was just looking at our ABR guidelines today, actually, because I wanted to make sure we had 5 on final today. And these need to be like ready for like a building permit, effectively. And so if there's questions about you have a concrete footing for a trellis on the 3rd floor, it doesn't make sense. And then you have your elevator, we don't know if that's actually fitting in the building as it is, that we gave PDA to. That's a major problem. And if and a lot of the details feel inconsistent. So I think I'm with the board members that it's going to be hard to find final today. And I don't even know. I think there's little things like Board Member 6 said, like maybe go back to the individual awnings. I would lower them. They seem too high if your doors are 8 feet. There's a lot of like little things. Yeah. Okay. Does someone want to make a motion? No. Okay. I mean, almost our notes from last time seem
I'll attempt to propose a motion for an indefinite continuance to complete and coordinate the drawings, especially the condition of the transformer, and the inconsistencies of details needed and not needed, to bring the building back to some similarity to the positive elements that we found in the preliminary. And that includes attempts at decorating the unfortunate solid walls that have to occur because of the filled-in fire requirements, enclosure requirements, to really attempt to bring this building back into conformity, or at least a sense of the where the preliminary approval was at.
I'll second that. Any discussion? Okay, let's take a vote.
Chair Anderson?
Yes.
Vice Chair Whalen?
Yes.
Board Member Black?
Yes.
Board Member Noon?
Yes.
Board Member 6?
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Right. And we'll finally adjourn our meeting for today.
Yes. Thanks for.